This season, I want to feel it from the start, from the whistle, from the first touch. Want to beat the odds, want to take an early lead, want to see why he costs so much money, want to shout pen before the ref is even called in, want to see the call go our way for once. I want to hear their lot go quiet, want to see them leave early, want to drop into the group chat to tell them I've seen the future, want to hear them agree, and if not I'll say, want to bet? Bet Fred. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
I'm Professor Noel Fitzpatrick, and as a vet, I know you want the best care for your animal companion. Pet insurance can help, but you need to choose wisely as not all policies are the same. Pet Plan aim to pay claims quickly and without a fuss, and that's one reason why so many vets work with them.
Get your pet the best veterinary care. Save 10% on new policies when you insure at petplan.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Fitz All Media is an appointed representative of Pet Plan Limited.
Get the new Google Pixel 10 Pro on EE and save a huge £544. And talk to Gemini about anything you see.
Like reorganising my living room?
Exactly.
Or helping us decide which top to wear with me jeans.
Yep, that too.
What about my old phone?
Trade in and save even more. All on the UK's best network. No wonder tech lovers are choosing EE.
Introductory offer ends 15th of September. Trading discount dependent on device. Savings across contract. Eligibility, credit check and terms apply. Credit by EE Limited. Verified best network at ee.co.uk/claims.
What's on TV? The answer is a lot. There's never been more choice over what to put on the box with an abundance of great new shows, but you can miss them all if you don't know where to look. And that's where the Pilot TV podcast comes in, your essential guide to every show that matters. Each week we sift through the very best in prestige TV to help you decide what's worth spending your time on and what isn't. So join me, James Dyer, as well as venerable TV critics Boyd Hilton and Kay Ribeiro, and let us help take the stress out of your downtime. The Pilot TV podcast, because you can't watch everything.
It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Good afternoon and welcome to Clyde One Super Scoreboard as we get set for a huge weekend of Scottish football. Big games today: Motherwell against Kilmarnock, the return of Stuart Kettlewell to Fir Park, Livingston Hearts as well. The main course really comes tomorrow though, a derby in Dundee, and in case you hadn't heard, a derby in Glasgow. They both need a win, they're both under pressure. What about Brendan Rodgers, Russell Martin, Adam Ida, Bojan Miovski, Nicholas Raskin? It is all there. What a weekend in store. I'm Gordon Duncan, and joining me you have Gordon Dalziel, Cammy Bell and Hugh Keevins.
Hearts can go top of the Premiership table this afternoon if they beat Livingston in West Lothian. And could this be the season when Hearts split the Old Firm at the top of the table while Celtic and Rangers are in chaos? They're spending big, they're thinking big, and Hearts could go top and still be there this time tomorrow, because Brendan Rodgers is trying to put together a team to go to Ibrox. Adam Ida caught between Swansea and Celtic. They might have to play at Ibrox tomorrow because there's no one else, and the Celtic fans fume over the club's handling of the transfer window. And in answer to your question, what kind of welcome will Stuart Kettlewell get? Hostile, I would say, Dazzler.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that at Fir Park, but after a real disappointing week in Europe for the Scottish clubs, you've got to say, starting with Celtic on Tuesday, leading right on to Rangers on Wednesday, Thursday night obviously Hibs and Aberdeen exit the competition as well. But it's all about domestic football. We've got a couple of good games today up and down the country, but I think all lies after 5 o'clock or 10 past 5 after VAR. I'll be concentrating on Sunday's fixtures.
Yeah, a couple of great fixtures today. It'll be interesting, as we've mentioned, to see Stuart Kettlewell's reception at Motherwell today. I'm pretty sure the Motherwell fans will have a lot in store for him. But yeah, look at the games tomorrow, and they're the ones I'm certainly looking forward to. You've got two big derby games, and then obviously Aberdeen and Hibs. Hibs against a very good St Mirren at Easter Road. So yes, some cracking football this weekend.
Cannot wait. A double helping of Clyde One Super Scoreboard across the weekend. So much to get through. Let's start with today's games. Of course, we will devote plenty of time to all the storylines surrounding tomorrow's matches, but it would be wrong to kick off with anything other than the games today. So let's do that. You can tweet us all afternoon at Clyde SSB. I will give you the invitation to phone us a bit later on as well. Let's start at Fir Park. Roger Hanna is watching Motherwell against Kilmarnock. The return of Stuart Kettlewell. Roger.
Yeah, for the first time in a long time, Gordon Dalziel might not be the most popular man in Motherwell. It'll be interesting to see the reception Stuart Kettlewell gets from the home fans. It was a kind of bizarre exit in January after almost 2 years at the helm here. He spoke of the abuse he was receiving from a section of the Motherwell support and the effect it was having on his family. It was words that were well received by a section of the Motherwell support, so it'll be really interesting. Some of the Kilmarnock players are out in the pitch here. The pitch is looking great, Gordon. They're out in the pitch now. No sign of the manager, but of course he will be out before 3 o'clock. The gates will be open and the Motherwell fans will be in, so it'll really be interesting. He's returned to the Premiership in the summer, successor to Derek McInnes at Kilmarnock, and he's still unbeaten. 4 wins and 4 draws from 8 games. They've got exactly the same record as Motherwell in mid-table, and it'll be a really interesting fixture here this afternoon. I can't really call it one way or the other. Motherwell won 3-0 here in May after Robbie D's early red card. Killie haven't won here for 5 years, but there is interesting team news. No Callum Slattery, no Kofi Balmer for Motherwell today. In come Liam Gordon and Ibrahim Said, and new signings Regan Charles Cook and Oscar Priestman are on the bench. So Motherwell go with Callum Ward in goal, Stephen O'Donnell, Liam Gordon, Paul McGinn the skipper, and Manny Longello across the back. Elliot Watt and Lucas Fadinger in midfield, and Elijah Just, Tawanda Maswanisi and Ibrahim Said supporting Apostolos Stamatolopoulos up front. On the bench, Oxborough, Balmer and Handy Halliday, Koutrumbis, Osong and Priestman, Ross, Hendry and Charles Cook. 4 changes for Stuart Kettlewell's Killie after that 0-0 draw at home at Dundee last week. Gordon, Jamie Brandon, Marcus Dackers, Ethan Schilt-Brown and Greg Kelty all miss out. In come George Stanger, Gennaro Daniels, Bruce Anderson and former Motherwell wing-back Dominic Thompson, who will get his first Killie Premiership start back at Fir Park. So they've got Max Stryek in goal. Ben Brannan moves over to the right-hand side, and Lewis Mayo, George Stanger, Robbie Dees and Dominic Thompson. The midfield, Liam Polworth, the skipper, Brad Lyons and David Watson, and a new front line, Gennaro Daniels and Bruce Anderson. On the bench, Beach, McKenzie and Dackers, Kilty, McGuinness and Lowry, Watkins, Shield-Brown and James Brown, the ex-Ross County right-back who signed a year-long deal with Killie only this morning. The referee's Dan McFarlane, the VAR is Gavin Duncan, and I'm really looking forward to this, Gordon.
Yeah, it should be a good test, Roger, because Motherwell have had all sorts of praise, and deservedly so, for their style of play, the way that they have totally transformed since the new manager came in. But after what is on paper a very difficult fixture list with Rangers away to St Mirren, away to Hearts, this is the type of fixture that it probably has to translate into something more than another draw, if it's going to turn out to be the type of season the Motherwell fans hope that it is.
Yeah, I completely agree. Plaudits and praise are all very well, but points are more important for Motherwell this season. They will have genuine ambitions of a top 6 finish after the way they've started under James Bertelascu. The performance in that first hour at Tynecastle last week, Gordon, wowed everyone, I think, before the late collapse in the 3-3 draw. I'm really looking forward. I haven't seen them in the flesh this season. I'm really looking forward to seeing the likes of Elijah Just, seeing Lucas Fadinger, seeing Ibrahim Said, what they bring to this Motherwell team. They have energised the support again. They've energised Fir Park. They will believe that they can get top 6 again this season, push higher up the table. But as you say, to do so, home games against Kilmarnock offer that opportunity of 3 points.
And no Callum Slattery would go down as a blow for the Motherwell fans, I'm sure, one of the better performers.
Yeah, he got that opening goal last week with a deflected effort past Sander Clark. He has been an important player in that advanced midfield role. He talk about energising the fans. He's got energy again. He missed that year with that terrible knee injury, and he's come back and played probably better football even than he did before the injury. He has been a key player, and he'll be a miss today, I think, but it's an opportunity for Ibrahim Said, one of the new signings, to come in and show what he can do. And quietly, that squad's getting stronger and deeper. You look at the bench, Charles Cook, we know what he did at Ross County in the past. Callum Hendry will add something, a threat of goals. Osong, the lad that's up on loan from Nottingham Forest, and Oscar Priestman, who's come in from Australia, in from the A-League through the week. Look forward to seeing him as well. So very, very quietly, you remember a squad of 34 at one stage last season, and so many of them left during the season. It probably left Askew a little bit short of numbers, but he's getting that strength and depth now. Koutrumbis is back in the bench, Balmer, who started last week's on the bench, and of course my Monday night partner's there as well, Mr. Halliday.
Well, he's got a good view to tell us all about it at Monday night.
This is the definition of evenly matched. I'm looking at the league table. Motherwell, Kilmarnock, both have played 3. Neither has won a game. Both have drawn all 3. Neither has lost a game. Both have scored 4 goals each. Both have conceded 4 goals each. Both have a goal difference of 0. How evenly matched can you get?
Yeah, looking forward to it for sure. Let's go to Livingston. Hearts are the visitors there. David Friel's watching on.
Yeah, Gordon, it's going to feel like I'm in Tynecastle. I think it's a short trip for the Hearts fans over to Livingston as they bid to go top, as Hugh said earlier, and it's going to feel like a home game. There's over 6,000, I think at last count 6,300 away tickets had been sold for this game. Hearts are going to get the 3 stands as you face out onto the Livy pitch right round. Incredible support here, and I think it just sums up the kind of excitement around the club right now. They're half of a tough couple of weeks going out the Premier Sports Cup to St Mirren and then that crazy 3-3 draw with Motherwell, but in the league they have been strong, 7 points out of 9 so far, and they've got a chance to go above Celtic with a win today. It's obviously early days, only 4 games played after today. However, I think it would cap a really strong start in the league from Hearts and Derek McInnes. On top of that, for the fans, they're also hoping to get a glimpse of their new record signing. The Brazilian midfielder, he arrived from Santa Clara yesterday. Hearts have paid almost £2 million for him. They're clearly investing under Tony Bloom, clearly ambitious, and I'm told he's likely to play some part today. Hearts are very excited about him. Dynamic midfielder, comes with a glowing recommendation, obviously one that Jamestown Analytics have picked up, so there's a lot of excitement around him. Don't think they'll get it easy though against Livingston. Really promising start to the season under David Martindale after last year's promotion. They've been playing good football, but they have a tough couple of games against Hibs and Celtic, obviously losing both. It doesn't really get any easier for David today against Hearts, but he's going to be side fired up as always, and he's put out a very, very attacking lineup, and this fits in with the fact that I'm expecting goals today, Gordon. I was down at Rugby Park last weekend, sat through that dreary 0-0 draw. Gordon Dale was loving it, but I think these two are the Premiership's entertainers. We've played 6 games combined this season. We've scored 24 goals. There's 24 goals being scored in those games, so hopefully that continues today. Livy have made 4 changes from that Celtic defeat. Shane Blaney, Macaulay Tate are injured. Samson Lawal and Andy Winter also drop out. Lewis Smith, Adam Montgomery, Robbie Muirhead and Teti Yengi are in. So it's Jerome Prier in goals. Back 4 are Daniel Finlayson, Ryan McGowan, Danny Wilson, 2 ex-Hearts players and Adam Montgomery. Lewis Smith, Mo Silla, Scott Pittman and Robbie Muirhead across the middle, with Jeremy Bakila and Teti Yengi in attack. Subs for Livingston: Hamilton, Wana, Carey, Cabangolo, McLennan, Winter, Lawal, May and Shinnie. As for Hearts, they've also made 4 changes, no real surprise from the Motherwell draw. Michael Steinvender, Pierre Landry Cabori, James Wilson, Alan Forrest drop out. Frankie Kent, Benny Beringame, Blair Spittle and Claudio Braga are in. Hearts team, it looks like a 3-5-2, but that might change. Derek McInnes does like to change, so I think it's going to be Xander Clark in goals, Frankie Kent, Craig Halkett and Stuart Finlay as a back 3, Ocean McEntee, Benny Beringame, Cammy Devlin, Blair Spittle and Harry Milne across the middle, with Claudio Braga and Lawrence Shankland in attack. Subs for Hearts: McFarlane, Kingsley, Cabango, Steinvender, Wilson, Magnuson, Kirjota, Aziu and Kizaridis. The referee at Livingston is Duncan Nicholson and the VAR is Greg Aitken.
Wonder about the significance of that signing this week, David. It wouldn't always start with someone who's on the bench, but the new Hearts signing, you alluded to the fee. Am I right in saying is that the biggest fee that not only Hearts have ever paid, but any non-Old Firm team has ever paid? That real sign of the intent at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. I think it is the biggest fee. Gordon, I was talking to somebody about this yesterday, and there was a bit of jabide over what the previous record was, but it certainly blitzes that. Talking to some guys here, that the kind of theory coming from Portugal is it's about 1.7 with add-ons, so it's a big outlay from Hearts. And statement of intent, clearly ambitious, clearly a player identified by the analytics and one that he's going to fit in, and he just adds to a massive squad. And I think for Derek McInnes, the problem so far has been A, getting to know his players, and B, finding out what the best team is, what the best formation is. He has some injuries in there as well, especially at the kind of right back area. But look, it is a statement of intent. Tony Bloom has come up, he's talked to talk, but he's also putting his money where his mouth is and getting investment into the team. And look, he's going to play at some point, I think, today. I think he's fit, and Hearts expect him to go on the pitch, and it just shows a sign of the times and where Hearts probably feel they can get to under Tony Bloom's investment.
I think Derek McInnes got a bit of stick for his starting 11 last week. Absolutely beyond any doubt that Claudio Braga was going to come in and start the match after that last week.
Yeah, and as I said, he's got such a massive squad. I was out speaking to him a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about getting to the end of the window, and he's not trying to chase people out, but the squad, he basically said he'd never experienced such a group of players in terms of his choice. And I think he's been trying to get guys in. He played James Wilson last last week, and obviously a young player, Scotland cap already. Hearts want to get him games, however it didn't work. Claudio Braga comes on and makes all the difference. You better get the song ready, Gordon, for later on if he scores here again today. But yeah, it's no surprise, he's obviously a big talent, and I think Derek McInnes is just trying to find out his best role and where he's best suited. But he'll be up front alongside Lawrence Shankland today, and I think those two will feel they can get some joy against the Livy defence.
Yeah, as I said, spending big, thinking big. Now you look at the state of Celtic and Rangers at the moment, so much uncertainty hanging over both clubs. One lot of fans want to sack the board, the other lot want to sack the manager. This could be the season when Celtic and Rangers are split up, not 1 and 2 as always. And if anyone's going to do it, it could be Hearts. I still haven't got over the fact that I tipped them to win the Premier Sports Cup, and Derek McInnes picked the wrong team in Paisley as well.
Hibs might want a word.
Yeah, Hibs are very, very strong as well. This could be the season Celtic and Rangers are split, and Hearts have it all in front of them today. The top man, 1.7 million, as David said, and Braga, the cult hero of Tynecastle. So I'd be astounded if they weren't comfortable winners at Livy.
I know what Hugh's saying, but I don't agree that Hibs and Hearts can split Celtic and Rangers. I know that Celtic and Rangers just now are coming in for incredible criticism from their supporters. Rangers fans want the manager out. The window's not finished. They're adding to their squad.
Celtic have won every league game so far.
Yeah, and not conceded a goal. And over it, and I think what we're talking, I think Hugh's talking there, not splitting Rangers, basically leapfrogging Rangers. I don't think it'll happen. I know they've got off to a terrible start. Look, I would love for a competition for Scottish football as well, for excitement. I want somebody to come in and challenge Celtic and Rangers. I think we're all fed up, saying the same thing. Who's got to win? Is it Celtic or Rangers? Normally it's Celtic. But it's refreshing. I like the look of Hibs. I like the fact that Hearts are going out there and spending big money. They've got a massive squad, but they struggled against Motherwell at home last week. So over a piece and course and distance, I don't think any of them are good enough to split Celtic or Rangers.
Yeah, listen, today's a big game for Hearts for me because again, David mentioned 6,300 Hearts fans, so expectation at that club's building, it's rising. Can the players handle it? They've obviously spent a lot of money there, so all these things add to the expectation. This game at Livingston won't be easy. It's one they should go and win, especially if Hugh's saying they're going to split the Old Firm, then they need to go to Livingston and win these type of games. But yes, the expectation's rising, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes today.
Looking forward to it. 2 big games in the Premiership. We've got a featured Championship game as well. When we return, we'll take a look at some of the week's biggest talking points. How long have we got?
Until Wednesday.
We're on to 7 tonight.
We'll do it next.
This season, I want to see us have a real shot. Want to see us at full strength. Want a bench that gives us options. Want to get some momentum. Want to do it on a cold, wet night in November. Want to be top at Christmas. Want to beat them on Boxing Day. Want to go ahead in January. Want to put the league table on the group. Want to hear them say, can they do it this year? Want to listen to their doubters. Want to prove them all wrong. Look them in the eye and say, want to bet? Bet Fred. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
And they're toe-to-toe here. Fungus hot on Foot's heels, just itching for victory. And now, Foot starting to crack. But wait, what's this? It's Lamasil who leaves Fungus behind as they cross the line. What a relief.
Lamasil Once, the only athlete's foot treatment that relieves symptoms, kills fungus and helps stop it coming back with just one application. Get feet off your mind with Lamasil. Available in most boot stores, subject to availability. Lamasil is a medicine that contains terbinafine. Always read the leaflet before use. Adults over 18. Verify at lamasil.uk.
I'm Professor Noel Fitzpatrick, and as a vet, I know you want the best care for your animal companion. Pet insurance can help, but you need to choose wisely as not all policies are the same. Pet Plan aim to pay claims quickly and without a fuss, and that's one reason why so many vets work with them.
Get your pet the best veterinary care. Save 10% on new policies when you insure at petplan.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Fits all media as an appointed representative of Pet Plan Limited.
Get the new Google Pixel 10 Pro on EE and save a huge £544. And talk to Gemini about anything you see.
Like reorganising my living room?
Exactly.
Or helping us decide which top to wear with me jeans.
Yep, that too.
What about my old phone?
Trade in and save even more. All on the UK's best network. No wonder tech lovers are choosing EE.
Introductory offer ends 15th of September. Trading discount dependent on device. Savings across contract. Eligibility, credit check and terms apply. Credit by EE Limited. Verify best network at ee.co.uk/claims.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell and Gordon Dalziel are here. We've got the top team round the grounds. Looking forward to probably a quieter day, even though it's an important day. Probably quieter than tomorrow because there is so much going on. Hard to distill all of this down to a structured set of talking points. Let's go transfers specifically, Roger Hanna, because Bojan Miovski is in. Is Adam Ida? What's happening there? Talk us through what the next couple of days might look like in that regard.
Well, yeah, Bojan Miovski is in at Ibrox, a 4-year deal from Spanish side Girona. He's back in Scottish football. He will be involved against Celtic at Ibrox tomorrow. He is the replacement for Hamza Igaman, who's headed for Lille for £10.4 million, and I don't think he'll be the last striker coming into Rangers in the next 24 hours, Gordon. I believe a deal is very advanced to get Yusuf Chermiti from Everton. He's a player that's known to Kevin Thelwell, as Rangers sporting director, from his time at Everton. Negotiations are well underway, and I think he'll follow Miovski into the door. There's also talk of the Marseille central defender Derek Cornelius, who's a Canada international. Rangers are very keen on him. They're short at the back, as we've discussed many times on this show. He could come in. And as for Celtic, well, you would see the double deal done through the week. The left back from Boca, Balak Bisha from Royal Antwerp, they'll probably be involved in Brendan Rodgers' squad tomorrow. But as you said at the top of the show, will Adam Ida, Swansea City, very keen on a deal in the region of £6 million, but Celtic will not let him go unless there's a striker in the door.
And that is not that far down the road yet, is it, David Friel? So what's happening with Adam Ida? It looked like he was down doing a medical yesterday. Is he now not? Is he going to play tomorrow?
I think it's up in the air. I think he's in limbo, and I think this is all moving very quickly, and it's almost like Celtic are in a chain here in terms of strikers, because Kasper Dolberg from Anderlecht is the top target if they can get that done, but Anderlecht have got their own issues in the striking department, and I think they're trying to sign a striker in before they can let him go. Adam Ida's just left in the middle, as you said, Gordon. It looked very close for all intents and purposes. Everything was agreed, personal terms, fee, all of that. Brendan Rodgers is willing to sanction that deal, but he won't do it until he's got a striker standing next to him, and you can understand why, given what's happened in January when Kyogo left, and Brendan Rodgers still looking for a Kyogo replacement, he keeps saying. So I can understand why Celtic won't let Ida go until Dolberg is in, but that doesn't look a particularly easy deal to do, given the fees and how important he is to Anderlecht. So where is Adam Ida in the middle of it? Right now I'd be surprised if he took part tomorrow, especially given he is clearly so close to the exit, but that again just leaves Celtic very short in attack, and look, it probably just sums up a transfer window that for a lot of Celtic fans just hasn't been good enough.
I was going to say that, Hugh. I think it is possible, anything's possible, and things can move quickly, but you would forgive Celtic fans for saying, if it's taken us 30 days to do what we've done so far, which is not very much, the chances of bringing in Dolberg and selling Ida in the next 18 hours would be pretty slim. But like we said, anything's possible.
The whole situation is farcical, and David was very generous in his choice of words, not good enough. The Celtic fans are outraged, and so is the manager, because yesterday he spoke about the timing of investment, and he's got a case, because Celtic gambled on getting to the Champions League without bringing players in, and the gamble backfired, as everyone knew it would, and Celtic are out of the Champions League, and now they're scrambling around trying to get players for the first Old Firm derby of the season. It is totally unacceptable, and it is yet again another transfer window which Celtic have contrived to mess up. For a club of their size, with the money they have in the bank, it is a joke.
I mean, you can get moving parts, Roger Hanna, and you mentioned, I think David mentioned a chain. These things can happen at the end of a window, but I think because it comes at the end of a window that's already been so frustrating for everyone involved at Celtic, not quite knowing if Adam Ida is going to be there or not, in the absence of anyone else, also it just feels a bit messy at this stage, doesn't it?
Yeah, and listen, you don't need to take my word for it or Hugh's word for it. Listen to Brendan Rodgers at his pre-match press conference yesterday, saying, we just need to look at the timing. Does that go back to recruitment? Does it go back to identification? What I know is we have to be better at it. Am I hopeful this time next year something can be changed? I would be very hopeful. So that indicates that the man at the top, the manager, Brendan Rodgers, is wholly dissatisfied with another transfer window at Celtic. They got rushed at the end of the transfer window 12 months ago and paid way over the odds for Engels, Ida and Trusty. They were intent never to do that again, and that's led them to this situation where the manager's desperate for players, has been desperate for players, didn't get them for the Champions League qualifier, and rather than spending money, it's cost them something in the region of 20 to 40 million pounds.
As we said, though, done deal is Bojan Miovski. We knew it was coming, but it's been announced by Rangers this morning. Do you think that would be a good recruit?
Yeah, listen, it's definitely a good bit of business for me. Yes, Rangers need bodies in the building, and he's certainly one that we know domestically can score goals here in Scotland, so I think it was an absolute no-brainer when the interest was there from Rangers to get it done over the line, and hopefully he'll be involved in the game tomorrow, because listen, you know what Bojan Miovski brings to it is goals, and he's done it at Aberdeen, so he can certainly do it at Rangers.
I think if he plays from the start tomorrow, Rangers win. And I know that the 9-1 aggregate defeat to Club Brugge was a humiliation. There is no other word to describe it. Rangers, though, can change the whole atmosphere tomorrow by beating Celtic, falling only 3 points behind Celtic in the league table, and the pressure would lift on Russell Martin, and I think Miovski is the one who could do that.
Do you think it's that important, Hugh, when you look at Rangers just now? And as much as a team collectively are very poor, at the back they're dreadful, and they're losing goals left, right and centre.
But at the same time, you've got a Celtic side who played Karat Almaty over 2 legs and extra time,
and you've got a Celtic
not
side
a single goal.
That's not lost a league goal.
Yeah, but at the same time, again, they're grubbing around for players to try and play Ibrox in the first derby of the season. The front three, everyone knew, and for a long time that was the area of concern for Celtic, and nothing was done about it. And I'd also say back four, Ralston shaky, Carter Vickers started to become shaky, Scales shaky, distribution awful, Kieran Tierney pale imitation of the player he used to be.
I'll throw this over to you then. Let's forget about the back four. Rangers collectively as a team shaky.
Yeah, I don't doubt that, but I think
that might be very generous.
But
Rangers need to be better defensively, or they will lose the game, because ultimately Celtic, we've seen this season domestically, can score goals. Yes, they struggled midweek, and yes, they're not firing on all cylinders. Rangers have been gifting team goals, and they'll do that again if they don't sort it out.
They've called back Adam Ida, who's not very good, and they're getting tremendous money for him. They've called him back because they've got no players.
Yeah, listen, I totally agree with everything you say about the transfer window being a shambles, but I'm not sitting here, and I don't think there's many Rangers fans as well and Celtic fans sitting 100% confident about tomorrow. I think we're in for an amazing afternoon, I've got to say.
Well, this is all against the backdrop, Roger, of pretty much every Rangers fan not even wanting the manager to be there. It's been that kind of week.
It's been an incredible week. I mean, I could never remember. I think it's the Rangers Supporters Association and the Fan Advisory Board, which is the group of supporters that the club actually embrace and bring in for chats every now and again. Both of those organisations issuing statements calling for the sacking of the manager after 10 or 11 games. We are living in unprecedented times. Andrew Cavan is in town. He's meeting Russell Martin at the training ground today. He will be at the Celtic game tomorrow. And it will be fascinating to watch how Andrew Kavanagh deals with the situation, because he will never have seen a situation at a club where there is so much unrest among the fan base.
See, when you talk about players coming and going and uncertainty over some, where are we now with this Nicholas Raskin situation, Roger? I think I described something else as messy a minute ago. This is even worse.
Yeah, it's incredible. Raskin will not play in the game tomorrow. He's not involved in the squad. He did not train with his first team colleagues yesterday at the training ground. His father Thierry accused Russell Martin of having an oversized ego in the middle of the week, and the most fascinating aspect of this pantomime for me, Gordon, is the revelation in the Scottish Sun today from our chief football writer Robert Grieve that Raskin's dropping is nothing to do with his form, it's nothing to do with his style of play, it is based on his conduct behind the scenes, and it's understood the backroom staff and senior figures within the squad have given their support to Russell Martin's decision to leave out Nico Raskin. I don't think Nico Raskin will play again under Russell Martin, and with a transfer window closing just 48 hours or 50 hours from now, I don't think you can make a call on Raskin's short-term future until that window's closed.
And this all blew up a bit last night, Hugh, because Russell Martin was asked about it at his press conference yesterday. Did he train today? And he said, yeah, he trained. He was trying to give off the impression that there was no issue, but it only took a few hours for various media outlets to find out that, yeah, he might have trained, but not with the first team. So I don't know, is he on a treadmill somewhere? Is he with the players that are on their way out? And that then looked very bad on Russell Martin. The Rangers fans who were angry already, they were furious last night at that, as if they had the wool attempted to be pulled over their eyes.
Russell Martin always uses the word clarity. I want to give my players clarity. His press conference yesterday was that of a man under pressure, because he was curt, he was clearly feeling the heat, and when it came to the question of Raskin, he did not give clarity. He attempted to be duplicitous, and it's not a good look. On top of all the other stuff, that's not a good look when you are misguiding people.
I think it's a case of a manager walking in, looking at the situation about Rangers and saying, right, I need my own players, I need my own style of football, my own tactics, everything about it. I think he's looked at the dressing room. Raskin, Tavernier, Igaman, I think Diamandi will probably fall into this category as well. I think he wants him out the door. But the thing where my big problem is, I watch him the other night there, he leaves out Tavernier and plays probably one of the worst performers with Rangers since the start of the season, and Max Aarons, and I hate picking the lad, but he's absolutely dreadful. But he then comes in after the game and all he does is praise Tavernier. He's all over the place, Russell Martin. He obviously doesn't want Raskin in there. It's not his ability. Raskin is a very, very good player. I think the dressing room, sometimes as a manager, you walk in, it's a strong dressing room that's run by these guys that he wants that.
Cammy, is it fair for people to fear that this can't be turned around? Not won a league game yet, didn't make the Champions League in isolation's fine, but the nature of it, the humiliating nature of it, and now, because people always throw out stuff about lost at dressing room, and it's always quite over the top and exaggerated, but between Hamza Igaman and Nicholas Raskin and whatever's going on with James Tavernier, it feels like there is an absolute mountain to climb for Russell Martin at the moment.
Yeah, he's got a massive job on his hands to turn this around. Again, it starts tomorrow by winning that game of football. All he can do is win games of football, but he needs to do it now. He needs to start tomorrow. There is a huge amount of unrest in the dressing room. You mentioned the Ariga Man situation, Raskin that's going on. For me, I get it. A lot of managers come into clubs and want their own players in the team, so I understand that and want to bring their own personnel in. But also, I think the bigger picture is, look at the guys that are there. For me, Nico Raskin's still one of the best midfielders that Rangers have. Joe Rothwell's came in, he's not hit the ground running. I think Raskin's a better player than him. And again, I just feel like he's pushing aside the guys that are already there. And that's absolutely fine doing that if the guys you're bringing in are doing the job. But at this moment in time, they're not. So it's sometimes a little bit of pride you need to pick the team that's going to do well and win games of football, and he needs to start that tomorrow.
I think they've got bigger problems. I watched the game the other night there, and the one thing, I don't care about tactics or style of football or whatever. I think there's a thing called basics in football, and those basics are quite simple, that every player knows. Go and match your runners, don't get done with a 1-2, go and pick up. Rangers never done that. They jogged. I watched Bruges coming forward down the right hand side, and every midfield player at Rangers was jogging back. No desire, no heart, nothing to get in there, nothing to stop crosses coming in, no desire to go and defend these balls. If it wasn't for Jack Butland, it would have been double figures. So the basics aren't there now. So I don't know why people talk about, well, we've not seen style of play, we've not seen tactics. If you've not got the basics, it's very hard to get that.
Then Andrew Cabinet is going to the game tomorrow. Now, he's the top man. He effectively runs the club. if Celtic win, then he's going to have to come out in public and say something, I think, because they have, as we discussed earlier, they've got Hearts in the league, they've got Hibs in the cup, and it begins to look very awkward.
He can't survive tomorrow, Hugh, if he doesn't win.
Well,
he can't survive tomorrow.
He's just signed Miovski. He's about to sign others.
Listen,
again, the only reason for me he would survive is because it's a new regime that's bought the club that have appointed him. So he's going to get that little bit of longer time. But yet, listen, we all know
you're
the Rangers
missing
fans.
The biggest factor, mate.
No. Listen,
you're missing the biggest
factor.
I
know the Rangers fans are wanting him out at this moment in time, but ultimately, I think it's a failing of the new regime that's came in and bought the club.
They want him out this moment in time. How are they going to feel tomorrow if Celtic go in there and turn them over?
No manager, to answer your question, no manager continues in office in defiance of the support. When it's Celtic and Rangers, there comes a point where you've reached the point of no return. And if he loses tomorrow, he's in a very, very, very serious position. And that's why I say Andrew Kavanagh would, I think, have to come out and explain the situation to the Rangers fans.
There's a lot going on. I was trying to skip round a number of the talking points, Roger. The other signing, the Everton striker Yusuf Chermiti, you said you thought that would possibly be on as well, on top of Miovski. What does that mean for Cyril Dessers? What does it mean for Danilo? I must admit, I've now checked this 4 times to see the reports that Rangers are considering paying £8 million for him.
Yeah, that's a lot of money for any Scottish club. You know, you were talking about the investment Hearts have made in the Brazilian midfielder, the biggest fee out with the Old Firm, but for the Old Firm, £8 million's a lot of money. I would think it would mean an exit for Cyril Dessers in the next few days. The interest from AEK Athens has always been there. I think there are other Greek clubs interested, and at Dessers' age, and Russell Martin has sort of alluded to this in quite sort of cryptic comments in the last few days, I think it's a move that Dessers would welcome. It sounds as if he would be getting paid more in Greece than he's getting paid in Scotland, and it could be as simple as Egeman and Dessers out, Miovski and Chermiti in, and I think Danilo would just become third choice striker, as he more or less always has been, Gordon.
It feels like Rangers fans are now unaccepting of everything. David feel everything's getting scrutinised, because quite simply they're not taking to Russell Martin, so everything else is getting scrutinised. I wonder if they've maybe got legitimate concerns here. Chermiti may turn out to be brilliant, but for Rangers to spend £8 million on basically potential is quite something at this stage.
Yeah, I think he was a £50 million striker, so Everton are also going to take a bit of a hit. But yeah, it's a huge outlay, Gordon, and it just feeds into, I think Roger mentioned earlier, I mean, Bojan Miovski's in today, so that'd be equivalent of what, £10 million in 2 strikers. Something just tells me that Andrew Kavanagh and his owners are going to stick with Russell Martin. I mean, he's 86 days in the job today. I can't quite believe we're at the stage where it feels like it's a point of no return and that tomorrow's defining for him. But I just wonder whether Andrew Kavanagh will feel that he has to just back his manager and stay true to his own convictions when he appointed him. I was looking back actually at Andrew Kavanagh's introductory press conference, and he kept using the word stability. Now, stability means trying to build and go through pain and for a better outcome. Is stability sacking a manager after 3 months in the job? I just don't think it is. I think there are legitimate concerns. I'm very, very unsure of whether Russell Martin can ever be a long-term success, especially given the kind of toxic nature of things just now. However, I just wonder whether Andrew Kavanagh and the 49ers will think, you know what, we just need to try and get through this spell, get out the transfer window, let things settle down and just give them a chance, because I personally think it's a bit too soon.
And that sounds sensible, and I like, by nature want to agree with that from David Friel. I think that the noise at Ibrox tomorrow could be quite something. That's the problem.
If he loses, then I think we have arrived at a watershed moment. Andrew Kavanagh also spoke about financial sustainability when he took over the club. If that is the case, then he's going to have to start shifting people out, like Dessers.
I suppose 10 million for Egeman's already come in, and Jeff Day and others.
But they'll still be well behind, and in order to balance the books, I think Dessers would have to go as well. But I repeat, tomorrow, if Celtic win, it's a watershed moment for Rangers, because 9 points of a lead, 4 games into the season, and with Rangers having extremely difficult fixtures to come, you have to say, I don't care what you say. I don't care about the banner that was hanging from the gates when the team got back from Belgium. I don't care about the fan advisory board. You've got to say he's our choice and he's staying. Otherwise, what will you say?
And I suppose, David, on a Celtic perspective, the fact that no one's really talking about Balikwisha or Saraki sort of sums it all up. That, they have made 2 signings. One cost £5 million, is the sort of profile that I think Celtic fans probably want. But immediately the question is just, well, why were they not done sooner? Why is it taken until now? And also, what's next because of all the uncertainty in the number 9 position?
Yeah, I think Balikwisha, especially Gordon, because he's a player Celtic have liked for, I think, the best part of a year, maybe even longer. He was very close in January, picked up an injury. I think Brendan Rodgers spoke about that in his comments yesterday about how he's known him and tracked him for a long time. So yeah, the question mark is why it didn't get done earlier. Celtic have filled 2 positions there that they did need, winger and the left back. However, I think a minimum they do need another striker. Certainly if Adamida goes, and even if he doesn't go, I think Brendan Rodgers will want one anyway, and another winger. I know they're interested in Tunekti at Hammarby, but I don't think the Swedish club are interested in selling him right now. So I think Celtic clearly need another winger, and there's obviously talk of Yangan out as well, Hugh's favourite. Celtic still have business to do. Otherwise, probably, to be honest with you, Gordon, whatever they do, the fans won't be happy after what's happened the last couple of months. But Celtic need to get 2 or 3 in, even after signing Balikwisha and Sarachi.
Well, you 3 in the studio are off the hook for now, because I'll catch up with you later. David Field and Roger Hanna, how will tomorrow go? Lay it on the line, go on.
I've described it on our website this morning as the irresistible force meeting the movable object, the team that can score against the team that can stop conceding goals, similar to Hugh's point earlier on. I just think Celtic have a higher floor, Gordon. When Celtic are bad, they're bad. When Rangers are bad, they are awful. I can just see Celtic's greater experience of this fixture. I can see the Celtic midfield of McGregor, Hatate and Nygren taking control of the game, and I can see Celtic winning by a goal to 0.
David Field?
I can just see a draw, Gordon. I don't think Celtic have got a great record at Ibrox these days. Rangers players, surely Russell Martin will get some form of reaction from them after midweek, and yeah, I just think it'll be a draw. I'm sitting on the fence. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw.
And does that suit Celtic more of it? Just the 6-point deficit for Rangers stays where it is. Would that, how would that go down?
I think to be honest, I think it probably suits both. Look, Russell Martin needs to get out of this game unscathed. I agree, because otherwise the noise will be really, really loud. But I think a draw would be acceptable. I think for Celtic, a draw at Ibrox is always acceptable, and I think for both managers, they just want to see what their squad is come the end of the transfer window after that. So I think a draw suits both, and I think it will be a draw.
Okay, we turn our attentions back to today's games when we return.
Action as it happens, and your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
10 minutes away from kick-off. Yes, there's a lot of excitement around tomorrow, and yes, we'll talk about it more as the afternoon progresses, but a bit of patience is required. Let's go back to Fir Park for Motherwell against Kilmarnock. Any warm welcomes yet for Stuart Kettlewell, Roger?
No, it's actually been quite sedate so far. I mean, the teams aren't out. He's not down it. He's dug out with his coaching staff at all so far. The players did their warm-up. They've all gone back in. We're sitting here just 10 minutes to kick off. So I think it will come. The Motherwell fans beginning to pour in. There's huge excitement here, not to see Stuart Kettlewell, but to see the team that Jens Bertalascu is building here. There weren't as many Motherwell fans that at Tynecastle last week as will be in here today, so a lot of them wouldn't see that fabulous display with their own eyes. They're looking for a replica performance this afternoon, and listen, I haven't seen them this season, but I'm really looking forward to seeing this Motherwell team in the style that Askew is asking them to play.
I think it's safe to say though that although it's so early and it's a couple of more just solid results, nothing spectacular over the piece of Kelly, maybe defied some of the talk over the summer. I feel like people were maybe fearing for them a bit. You look at the number of players that they lost. They obviously lost an experienced manager in Derek McInnes. What are your early feelings? You think they'll be fine?
Yeah. Oh, I think they'll be fine. Yeah, I tend to agree with you. There were doubts. There were obvious doubts that there was an experienced, long-serving manager gone. There were a lot of senior players, including the captain, Kyle Vassell, gone. But there's been some quite astute transfer market moves made in the summer. I think Max Stryek coming in as a good goalkeeper for Kilmarnock. They've got 4 strikers because they can alternate. Bruce Anderson and Gennaro Daniels have got the nod today. Young Ben Brannan has been a fabulous boost coming back from that loan spell at Partick Thistle. He's been playing out of position at left wing back. He's back to his natural place at right wing back. He scores goals, he creates goals. He's got a call up for the first time to the Scotland under-19s. They're heading to Slovenia next week. They're doing fine. They've got a hard working midfield. David Watson, Brad Langley and Polworth, who's coming back today. They will be fine.
Let's hear from both managers ahead of that game at Fir Park, starting with the home boss.
I don't think any players will develop if I just talk in cliches and headlines. Just go out and win. I don't think anyone will improve. I'm sure that we will win games soon. I hope that every player, coach, staff member that leaves Motherwell and comes back, that they will be treated, or she will be treated with the respect that they deserve.
I said it when I came out. I certainly don't wish Motherwell any ill health or bad luck or anything like that at all, but I've firmly got a job to do here at Kilmarnock. I can't really control what narrative people will put on it. I can't really control the angle that will come from that. I think we could all see that there was a lot of support towards myself, and that from the fan base, from the staff, from the players. But you know what? Ultimately, they move on, and I move on, and that's kind of how I see it in football. We can see how tumultuous this can be in Scotland in football, and how opinions and thought processes and everything change. Again, I can't control it at all. From my side, I want to go and try and win 3 points.
Looking forward to it. What about Livingston up against Hearts? David Friel is there, a big expectant travelling support. You were telling us, David Friel, they will be keen to get back to winning ways. It's still been a good start, but I think off the back of the League Cup defeat, then that first 60 minutes last week, there's maybe room for 1 or 2 doubts. That's what you almost have to do at this stage of the season. We're so swayed either way because we don't have loads to go on yet.
Yeah, 100%. Look, Hearts have made a good start. It's not as good as Derek McInnes wanted. I was down at St Mirren that day, Gordon, for the game. They let themselves down. Derek admitted after the game, said that he picked the wrong team. He called it wrong, and he owned up to that. But yeah, I think over the piece it has been a good start. As I said earlier, he's still kind of searching for his best formation, his best selection, but scoring goals hasn't been an issue. They've played 8 competitive games so far, and they've got 25 goals in there, so they're averaging over 3 a game. I think in the last couple of weeks, as you said, it's the stuff about conceding goals. Up at Tannadice, conceded 2, conceded 3 to Motherwell. They fell asleep completely for Alec Gogic's volley in that St Mirren game as well. So that's not something you would really associate with Derek McInnes' teams. They're normally well organised, and some people would say they kind of lack a bit of flair in the past, but I mean, it's probably the opposite so far this season. They're banging the goals in, but having a bit of trouble in recent weeks keeping them out. So I think he wants to try and find a happy medium in there, and I think that's probably why he's brought Benny Beringame in today to play alongside Cammy Devlin, because Livingston, as I said, are almost going a 4-4-2 with 2 wingers. So Livingston are obviously going to have a go at Hearts. So I think Derek just wants him to tighten up slightly and then let the players like Claudio Braga and Lawrence Shankland go and express themselves in the final third.
How's Marvin Bartley's warm-up looking?
It looked okay. He's also he's gone for simple boots. I think the last time I was watching Livingston, he had the multicoloured boots on, but no, he's gone old school. I think it was just normal black Adidas boots, Gordon, so he's not trying for anything stylish in that front.
Extra small t-shirt again, just to make sure it's super tight around his biceps.
Yeah, I did notice that, Gordon. It was super tight. I think it was extra small for him.
Yeah, pathetic. We'll pick this up during the week for sure. Well, that's us then. The scene is set ahead of the 3 o'clock games. We've actually got a brilliant card in the Championship as well that we'll get our teeth stuck into. I know loads of your minds are wandering to tomorrow. We'll keep you up to speed on all the transfer news in case anything develops over the afternoon. It might well do, but we'll kick off these 3 o'clock games when we return.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
And just like that, we are underway in the 3 o'clock games. Lots of jeering already as Stuart Kettlewell appears at Fir Park for the first time since leaving, now in charge of Kilmarnock. Of course, you 3 have only 3 featured games today. You're not banned this week from predicting?
No, I should not be banned, because I predicted the only person in here last Saturday who predicted that Celtic and Rangers were out.
I think the only problem is you can't just predict Celtic to lose every game and then brag when you eventually get one right. That's the difficulty.
Were you not the same man that said Celtic is impossible to win with that front line against Livingston?
That doesn't suit my argument.
No, these things even themselves out.
I
over
also
the course
said
of the
that
season.
Aberdeen would be demoted to the Conference League and Hibs would be eliminated from Europe. So I had 4 correct.
Yeah, but that was yesterday.
Anyway, 3 games today. I need Motherwell Kelly, Livy Hearts, and I'll give you one featured game from the Championship, Thistle Raith. What's your ACA? Go.
Motherwell will beat Kilmarnock, Hearts will win at Livingston, and Partick Thistle to beat Raith Rovers.
I'm going for Motherwell Kilmarnock draw. I'm going to Hearts win at Livingston, and I'm going for a draw with Raith and Partick.
Gordon Dalziel.
Right, I'm going to go backwards. I'm starting with Mucker Mark Wilson. Home win. He's on fire. Motherwell Kilmarnock. That's no backwards, that's the last one. Motherwell Kilmarnock. I'm going home win. And here's my big prediction. I heard David Friel bum this up for all the goals in the world. Livy Hearts draw.
Ooh, big call.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get set for the season with expert pharmacy support.
Right, come on then, let's see if we get any early drama in any of our featured matches. Of course, it's a bit of a disrupted schedule. 4 Premiership games tomorrow. It's not only Derby Day in Glasgow but Dundee as well. Then what will the after effects be for our European representatives? I have to say, I know we're down on ourselves, and understandably, if they're out, they're out. If they didn't get the outcome they wanted. But Hibs, you've got to feel sorry for them. Well, they're showing signs of being a proper team this season, even though it didn't go to plan the other night.
Yes, feel sorry for them twice. You know, you look at the before that Easter Road when they lost with that terrific overhead kick, and then obviously Thursday night. I must admit, I thought they had probably no chance of getting through Gordon. What a fight they put up, absolutely brilliant, heart-breaking stuff at the end. Aberdeen, you've got to say, well beaten,
but again, not helped by a frankly outrageous refereeing decision that puts them down to 10 men early in the game, and you're never going to win from there, are you?
No, not a chance. But it was a disappointing week for all our Scottish teams, I've got to say. But I think that the only one that can take the positives is Hibs, because Hibs are getting a lot of plaudits now. The way they're playing, the players that they've got, the size of the squad they've got, everything about them. So it could be a big year for Hibs. They've got a lot of important games and real difficult games coming up, so they've got to be consistent for me.
I feel like Hibs have almost been overlooked, Cammy. People are looking at Derek McInnes arriving at Tynecastle, Jamestown Analytics. Hibs look like a proper team this early in the season.
Listen, a right good team they look, and I think they've been building that certainly through that. Once David Gray got away from that sticky period where we spoke about for long periods last season, losing his job, he got over that. He finished the season really strong, and they've continued that. And again, what they've done is they've recruited really well. They've brought in a number of bodies. I think Grant Hanley just adding that experience in there around the changing rooms really good as well, and a number of younger players in the team. So no, I think they're going to be a real force this season, and tomorrow's a big game for them because it's off the back of that disappointment. Can they go and get 3 points at Easter Road against a good St Mirren team, and then go into the international break, refresh and get ready to go again?
Ready for your question, Hugh?
Yeah,
let's do it. Give people as long as possible. We're generous like that.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Simple as can be. There are 4 current SPFL players with 5 or more goals in Glasgow, Edinburgh and Dundee derbies. Who are they? 4 current SPFL players with 5 or more goals in Glasgow, Edinburgh and Dundee derbies. Name them.
At Clyde SSB, we're looking for all those names on one tweet, and you have to beat everyone else to it. That's the whole gist of it. Of course, you can chuck the odd name in if you just want to take part. So for a bit of clarity, those goals could be scored over all three of those derbies, just one of those derbies, two of those derbies?
Yep.
Yes. Okay, so as long as you have how many or more? 5 or more?
Five or more.
Five or more goals in the Glasgow, Edinburgh or Dundee derby. It could be a combination of those derbies, okay, if players have played for a number of teams. So get guessing at Clyde SSB. It's a good question, that.
Yeah, we've got one certainty.
Have you?
Yeah, because I heard you saying it in the office.
I know which one it was.
That's actually quite difficult, that one. I think that's quite a difficult one.
Well, let's wait and see. What people
I'm not
can
sharing, mate.
Okay.
come up with. Still no goals scored in Scotland yet.
Just think about the cabbage and ribs, Cammy, just for a quick one. What would happen if they get an offer for Kieran Bowie between now and the window closing?
Oh, listen,
What's the price?
Yeah, it depends on the price, but I think it would be a big call at this moment in time, especially what Hibs are trying to build, the feel-good factor around it. I think it would be a massive blow to Hibs if it did happen and they accepted a bid. But again, we speak about there's always a price. There's always a price for a player, so it would need to take a big fee for me.
You know the rumour mill, transfer window time. I heard the suggestion last night that another team in green and white might try.
Oh, it's all about timing, though, isn't it? I know we, up to a point, we always talk about, you know, if the price is right, but there will be some times that teams are able to hold out just because they just can't. We're like this chain that we're talking about. 7 million, and I know Celtic are an extreme example because they've got a bit of money. 7 million's a brilliant price for Adam Ida, but it ain't brilliant if you don't have someone to take his place.
100%.
So you wonder if Hibs are probably strong enough that it would need to be properly eye-watering to do it at this stage. Let's say it was, I don't know, let's throw a figure, three or 4 million. I think they'd resist that at this point.
No, you would not let him get out the door for that. I don't know his contract situation. He'll probably be on a long-term contract. They'll probably say, look, another season, the way he's going, he'll probably be worth more if he keeps progressing. But I get back to 3 or 4 million. You're not even considering that, especially where Hibs are.
6.
But if it went, no, I think you need
so
to go
they were throwing it up
because 6 million.
I don't think Celtic, obviously, as you mentioned there, would pay that money for him.
You didn't mention Celtic.
No, listen, he mentioned a
I'm
colour.
trying thinking of
But again, you're right, it would take an extraordinary offer for Hibs to take him, because it does leave them in a hugely difficult situation.
We've got a goal in one of our featured matches.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Partick Thistle 1, Raith Rovers 0 in the Gordon Dalziel derby. Tony Watt with the goal, 7 minutes gone. Partick Thistle feeling good about themselves at the moment, and following that up with a bright start here at Firhill.
Well, a good crowd there today. Mark has got them going now. They were my tip to win the championship. So Johnson are on fire, but I beg your pardon.
I'll tell you what I'll do with you. To spare your blushes, I'll let you change your mind.
No.
He's sticking by it.
I'm okay, thank you.
Okay.
He's loyal to his friends, this guy.
Yeah.
Mark Wilson, Alex Ray.
Yeah.
They've taken him home time and time again in here on a Saturday night.
It's that bad that he's trying to get Alec an invite to Mark's wedding so he can get a run back home. Listen, I know this guy. I've worked with this guy too long.
Really good start though. Tony Watt with the goal.
Brilliant. And I think Mark takes great confidence. Obviously, team great confidence for that victory last week. 3-1. They've been up there before in the cup. 3-1. It was a great result for them. It obviously wasn't for Ross County. It cost the manager his job.
Would it be awkward at Mark's wedding if I asked the groom to give me a lift home on his wedding day?
I think there's nothing surer you'll begin about going, are you going home early tonight? Because that is your normal.
Bit of a concern for player, club and country, because Xander Clark went down injured after making a clearance. We know that Craig Gordon is currently injured. We also know, and again I understand that Xander Clark has maybe had 1 or 2 critics at the start of this season, but nevertheless Scotland don't have a lot to choose from either, Cammy, and they're meeting up tomorrow night, I would assume, certainly at the start of the week. It's Xander Clark, Liam Kelly, who doesn't play much football, and Angus Gunn, who also doesn't play much football. He's continuing for now, but Liam McFarlane is out warming up as well. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Again, it's something that Steve Clarke obviously won't want going into the game next week. Again, yes, Xander's not been in the best of form at the start of the season, but
we all know he's a good goalkeeper. It's a problem position for Scotland going forward, certainly, because as you mentioned, Liam Kelly hardly played any football, Angus Gunn hardly played any football. Xander's the only one that's actually been playing this season, so yeah, hopefully he can continue.
You'll be back to the squad at this rate.
Listen, I'm well past that, Hugh.
Did you get caps?
One.
Who against?
Faroe Islands.
Do you know, so that's a common feature now for me to work with people. Wilson, 1. Bell, 1. Against countries that they could get a cap against, couldn't you?
I had Alan McGregor and Craig Gordon ahead of me. I had absolutely no chance.
But you said you were
David
in the
Marshall.
cup final.
And David Marshall.
One game.
Okay, mate.
I had David Marshall as well, so yeah.
So there we go. Well, we stuck you next to 51 caps, did we not? And Stephen Naismith the other night.
He's a show off, isn't he?
You were eventually conceding that maybe you were, for the first time ever, Hugh, it's the first time I've seen him concede that the pundit he was on with was a better player than he was. It's taken us
No, I didn't
over a
say
decade.
better player. I said he had a better career. There's a difference. I was obviously.
Was he a better player though?
No, not at all. With Naismith, we jumpy Naismith running about the middle of the park.
51 Scotland caps.
Yeah.
East Kilbride won
With
4-0. Cammy Elliott with the goal there. I think a lot of you have taken them to win League 2, and they are ahead early on in that one.
Scott Allen, master coach.
Honestly, should have seen him yesterday, right? So I met him. I always bump into him in the gym because he drops his son at school. I'd take my daughter to school, so it's just likely that you're kind of there at the same time. But there he was sitting with a notepad out on his on some sort of Zoom call. He had the earphones in, and he waved me away. He couldn't speak. And when I came back down, he was still there. He was in a set piece meeting. He was telling me.
Who? East Kilbride? A set piece.
Wow, he's the set piece man.
Oh my God.
So if that goal that's gone in is from a set play, then he's done his job.
Fair
we took him in here when he had nothing, and now he's going Billy big time on us.
Yeah, he's incredible.
He's waving you away.
Yeah.
Can't speak. Give me that one.
I love that.
Braga's through in the side of the box, but shoots wide. It was a great pass from Lawrence Shankland to release him. Still goalless there between Livy and Hearts. Xander Clark is continuing. Liam Polworth, who used to play for Motherwell, now plays for Killie, has scored against Motherwell since moving to Killie. He hits one inches wide from 25 yards. Did we see a chink in the Motherwell armour last week, Gordon, in terms of the goalkeeper?
Yeah, spilled one, didn't he?
Other one through his legs.
Yeah. I was disappointing. Look, the end of the day, you've just got to go with it. Your gut feeling, the manager feels that right now he's the best option. Of course, it's got to be highlighted more when the goalkeeper makes a mistake. Ask Cammy about that. He made a career out of it. But I think that Motherwell, they're playing very good football. I think Slattery's a big miss today, Gordon. He's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Keeps everything ticking over. Everybody I've heard, I wasn't at Tynecastle last week, but everybody who was there, they were talking about the first 60 minutes best football Motherwell played in a long time.
Yeah, again, the goalkeeping situation with Ward, I seen the one that he spills, because he actually, I think it's one of them ones when he looks back, he should
very quickly, let me interrupt.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Partick Thistle 2, Raith Rovers 0. Aidan Fitzpatrick, 13 minutes on the clock. The Jags are flying here.
How's that title looking now, Daz?
Listen, they're doing great. I'm delighted for them. Keeps them out of here. But let me tell you now, it's like when you're a young kid and you had one of the bogies going down the hill. The wheels will eventually come off. They'll come off and go in different separations.
You need to explain a bogey to today's generation.
Do you remember the bogies?
Oh yeah.
Anyway, we'll move on back to 2025, if you don't mind, where Partick Thistle are 2-0 up on Raith Rovers. It's a great start, isn't it?
Oh, that's a brilliant result so far for Partick Thistle, and what a start to the game. They'll be full of confidence. They'll just want that next goal. We all know 2-0. The longer the game goes on is a vulnerable result, but it's a brilliant start for them, and they seem to, as you mentioned before, be building momentum there.
David Watson's pinched the ball off Longello. He's fed Daniels, an angled drive saved by Ward in the Motherwell goal, who we were just discussing. So he's made a save here. It sounds like Killie starting pretty well, though, for all the hype that Motherwell have had. You know, Stuart Kettlewell would love to come and spoil that And you wouldn't put it past them, Gordon?
No, he'll have them well organised. He'll have them up for it, Gordon. Of course you want to get back to your old club and put one over them. You'll probably come out that tunnel, 1 or 2 boos because of the situation, the way you left the club. So you're sitting there with a determination. You would love nothing better than to pick up 3 points. I think Rodgers got a very, very good game there. I'm delighted he's highlighted the pitch. The pitch just now is sensational. So I think he'll get goals. And it'll be interesting to see if David Friel gets goals at Livingston Hearts.
Perfect day for it. Dark, rainy. I hope it's that way at Ibrox tomorrow at 12 o'clock. That's the weather for football.
Dark and sinister.
Yeah.
I know that's the way you prefer it. No other goals to tell you about in Scotland yet. Maybe a quick refresher of your teaser, Hugh. I'll take a look to see if there are any early issues that need ironed out.
There are 4 current SPFL players with 5 or more goals in Glasgow, Edinburgh and Dundee derbies. Name them.
Okay, Ped would like to throw in Martin Boyle.
Not there.
He would also like to have a go. Cal Wilson said him as well, actually. He'd like to have a go at Jota.
No.
Okay. Cal Wilson would like to suggest Simon Murray.
Good player, but not there.
Okay, 5 or more goals in the fixture. There aren't many.
I've got your 1 plus they 2.
Yes, so you've got 1 to get.
Come on, Cammy.
Okay, that's a good start from you. You usually save yourself until the second half teaser as well.
It's obvious. The jigsaw put it together. Do you know what I mean? You happy, Cammy?
Yeah, it's an impressive start from you.
Really good.
Yeah.
I expect you to get the next one.
The man at the top of your game so far.
Do you think I'll get the next one?
Yeah.
Okay then. Listen, mate, this isn't a BBC you're sitting next to now. This is a real McCoy.
We could do with some more goals. We've obviously only got a few games today. Lots of our attention will turn to next week. Did I interrupt someone when you were trying to round off your thoughts on Thursday night? Hibs, Aberdeen. I feel like we did. It was probably quite a while ago now. That's what goals do. But is it important, Hibs?
I thought that Aberdeen, for example, 5-2 in aggregate, and I think that was the right score over the 2 games.
Sending off's a joke the other night, and it's not like it comes. It's not in the 80th minute. That's a game-altering decision, isn't it? One of the worst you'll see. Because I know what we'll do. We've been very quiet so far. We've not really had many refereeing errors. As soon as we get one, we'll all jump up and down and talk about how it's the worst ever and how no one referees as bad as we do. Every time I see our Scottish clubs in Europe.
Now you've tempted fate. Tomorrow.
But look at Rocky Bashiri at Easter Road last week, and then somehow even worse for Aberdeen the other night.
The decision was horrendous the other night, and again it totally alters the game. Absolutely changes the game for Aberdeen, and pretty much for me gives them absolutely no chance at going through that tie. So yeah, listen, they were well beat, but certain circumstances. But listen, we've mentioned it before. I think Hibs have got to take a lot from going over to Poland, putting on that performance, and they were just so unlucky conceding that goal in the 90 plus 3 minutes.
Can I just say, Steaua Bucharest at Pataudry were reduced to 10 men, and it was a terrible decision as well.
Yeah, well, that's a fair
that game
point.
Finished to each though. I'm just saying, like, we can't just ignore it and pretend it didn't happen. It happened so early in the game.
Just balancing.
It was just a poor week at the office for our teams, but I'll tell you what, I'm loving that fixture tomorrow for Hibs and St Mirren. If I wasn't in there, I'd be along to the capital.
We have a goal for Park.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Could say it's been coming. Motherwell 0, Kilmarnock 1, Gennaro Daniels. It was a great passing move. See, everyone's banging on about Motherwell. Well, Kelly passing it about nicely. Lions cut it back, rolled it in, and it was a very good move. Loads of players involved. After Mayo intercepted the ball, Watson, Lions, then Daniels. Motherwell 0, Kilmarnock 1.
Maybe it's Motherwell's turn to go behind and stage the great comeback, flipping last week's story at Tynecastle.
Do you think Stuart Kettleway's running down the tunnel? The track just now. I would be.
Fist pump to the fans.
I would be giving them what for, by the way. I would go early. I would have my moment. I don't care if Motherwell come back and beat
I don't
me.
think it's quite knee slide yet, but maybe if they get
you wouldn't
another
slide
couple
down that track at Fir Park.
No, brilliant start for Kelly, and again, a new striker coming in, Daniels to the club. I know Stuart Kettlewell's changed it up a little bit, and Dackers is on the bench, and he's got Bruce Anderson up beside him. So yeah, I think they've got firepower up there. They've got real quality players. Brad Lyons, you mentioned the assist there, and he's a key player for me for Kilmarnock. He's really consistent and makes them tick.
That's straight from kick-off. Motherwell try and respond. Masonisi across the face of goal, so Motherwell trying to bounce back after falling behind.
Well, we've got the experience of last week to look back on, and I'm sure they have the players as well. As I say, before the game started, that their records are identical in every way: goals scored, goals lost, points, everything. So I would expect Motherwell to
plenty of goals in that game, isn't there, Hugh? There got to be goals in that. I'm going positive today in the Motherwell game. Not too sure about along the M8 there at Livingston.
Well, it's a bold call, but you're 20 minutes in and it's still 0-0, so your draw is still there.
You don't see many goals in that game, no?
I don't see a lot of goals.
Right.
I think David Frail does his usual. He bums it up to such an exciting game. He talks about all the goals and everything like that, and it's either a 0-0 or a 1-0. And guarantee it'll probably be the same today. I've worked in this station too long now. I know them out there. At least Roger, he talks about a good pitch. He doesn't put himself out there to be shot down, but Frail, poof.
Hearts are getting a bit frustrated. He says Halkett booked for a bad one on Muirhead. The free kick doesn't come to anything though. So the Jambo's not quite getting it their own way, and of course a big crowd there as well, expectant crowd making the short trip from the capital.
Well, they go there and they read in the morning about the record signing, and the optimism is sky high. Hearts got a standing ovation at the end of the Motherwell game, even though they were 3-0 down at one stage. They have to deliver. You know, the Premier Sports Cup, that was a setback for them, because I think Derek McInnes also thought it was on for Hearts to possibly win the first trophy of the season. So they have to deliver.
There's good news for you, Hughes, in the Championship.
Oh, there's a big goal. St Johnstone 0, Morton 1. Eamon Brophy with the goal in that one. Definitely a bit of a surprise.
Got Morton out of jail last week. Eamon Brophy scored the equaliser late on. 2-2 draw at Capello.
Come on.
I think Raith have a penalty though. Partick Thistle, remember, 2-0 up.
The Dazzlers got all 4 in the teaser.
We can get back to that. Montrose 2, Peterhead 0 in League 1, but a chance for Raith to bounce back after Thistle starting the game so well.
Yeah, that could be a little bit of a blow. I think Cammy touched on it. When you're 2-0 up, that lead, everybody thinks, right, that's a game gone. The next goal is so important. If you get it 3-0, comfortable. Well, obviously Motherwell went last week, so I contradicted myself there.
Generally speaking.
Yeah, generally speaking. But if obviously Raith score this, and they're sitting second in the league, they've offered a good start, right? So they're right back in this game.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how that one plays out. Yeah, indeed, here it goes.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Dylan Easton with the penalty. 22 minutes gone. I suppose Partick Thistle can't complain too much, given they got a very soft one in their favour against Morton a few weeks ago.
That was embarrassing.
Anyway, Partick Thistle 2, Raith Rovers 1.
Again, yeah, it brings them right back into it. As you mentioned, Daz, that Raith have had a really good start to the season. 2 wins, 1 draw, so they're in good form. So that goal will give them right belief. But again, it can't be too downhearted on Partick Thistle, because they've had a brilliant start there. So they just need to continue doing what they're doing.
Quite a few old crossover of former teammates in that division, isn't there? With Mark Wilson either up against Scott Brown or Barry Robson. There's another big goal in the Championship. Dunfermline 1, Ross County 0. Remember, Don Cowie is now no longer the Ross County manager. John Robertson taking interim charge.
They've got off to a dreadful start.
Yeah, not getting any better.
I actually think, Hugh, I tipped him to win the league.
Ross County?
Yeah.
I think you probably did.
Yeah.
I think lots of people did, because again, on paper the squad's very strong. It looks like they've spent quite a bit of money.
Yep.
Yeah, you just look at their bench sometimes. You've got Nicky Clark, you've got White on there, you've got different, players that have played in this championship and are decent, but they just seem they can't get it going. Start of the season, they need a big result just to try and get that momentum going.
So, what is the managerial situation then? They've binned Don Cowie. Maybe a charismatic appointment is what's required. Lift every day.
Yeah, listen, would Tony Docherty be one that they would look at?
Why not?
Going up there, experience obviously in the game, and again, for me, he was probably hard done by at Dundee.
Would Tony Dock look at Ross County?
I think he would.
Would
absolutely,
100%.
Yeah, listen, they're a club well backed by Roy McGregor, and as Gordon said there, the squad they've got, for me, they're totally underachieving so far this season.
I've no idea. I wouldn't want to speak on behalf of him. He's sitting next to Roger Hanna. He says he'll go and ask him, but I suppose worth bearing in mind, Tony Docherty's only had one managerial
but he's
job.
Been about the game for
no, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that as in, I think it's quite likely that he would be interested in that.
Yeah.
I think if you've only had one job, you're probably not ready to start tumbling things down.
Where else are you going to look at? Again, exactly. Who's going to lose their job in the top flight? Probably, we've mentioned this before, there's few and far between managers that will actually lose their job pretty quickly.
In just the way of the world, it would need to be similar or smaller than Dundee.
Absolutely.
Really, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that would be, for me, would probably be a perfect
there
fit.
you can throw in. Obviously you've been speaking to Tony Dock on the way in. Anybody else you've been
trying to get my job?
Don't worry, Tony, I'll throw your name in there.
Dad, you no fancy it?
Too far away, mate. I wouldn't take that for all the money in the world. I couldn't travel up and down there. Honestly. And seen the winter,
a helicopter up and down.
Seen the winter, ridiculous. my record in the Highlands wasn't the best. The minute I got to Avonmore, I sort of switched off.
It's quite something for Daniels Kilmarnock, booked already for persistent fouling. 26 minutes in, that's good going. Motherwell put a bit of pressure on from a few corners, but not quite the level that they would hope for. Braga's picked out Shanklin, but the header deflected over.
So Daniels has scored and been booked for persistent fouling. He sounds as if he's having a lively afternoon.
He's involved in everything. But no other goals to tell you about yet. Even down the divisions, we had a short flurry there in the Championship, with Raith pulling one back, Dunfermline going, and we do have one in Livingston.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Livingston 1, Hearts 0, and it is Lewis Smith with the goal. Livy have taken the lead. We said Hearts were getting a bit frustrated. Smith, the man converting. It was brilliant skill. He's taken it by Milne, cut inside, left foot, bottom corner. He's had a positive start to the season, and Livy are 1 up.
You've got to hand it to Davy Martindale. I mean,
you've got to hand it to me.
Of course. Well,
forget you for a second.
Okay. It's incredible the way he keeps going. I thought we were a real disappointment against Celtic. Ought to have taken a greater advantage of the fact that Celtic had that makeshift side out. But for Derek McInnes, the big signings in, Tony Bloom, the big promises have been made. They keep talking about silverware. You can't go out of the cup and then have a 3-3 at home with Motherwell when you're 3 down, because the standing ovation for getting back to 3-3 will turn into something else if they don't win in Livingston. Chance to go top of the table, and they're blowing it.
Yeah, it's still a long way to go, but I always think that you go there with that reputation of Hearts and a chance to go top of the league. They've been put out of the cup. I think people get carried away early on in the season. I think it takes time for everything to bed in. Livy will always, I know that Hibs went there after the European and really comfortable, but Livy at home, when they've been prepared for a full week against Hearts, good crowd there, everything lifted, they're always difficult. They're stuffy to beat.
When you talk, Daz, about the way people are now, I mean, I was reading a piece from Jim Goodwin this morning, who's done 400 games as a manager now, from Alloa to Dundee United now. And he said it's incredible. The world's a different place when it comes to criticism. And look at us here in the city of Glasgow. One half wants the manager sacked, the other half want the board sacked. They'll play each other tomorrow. Everyone is, as they say in Glasgow, up to high dough.
Let's revisit that teaser again, Hugh.
4 current SPFL players have got 5 or more goals in Glasgow, Edinburgh and Dundee derbies. Who are they?
Okay, let's go through and see if we can eliminate any more, help you out, point you in the right direction. There's a few falling for the similar traps. Michael Donati's another one going Simon Murray. He's not quite got the 5 or more. Paul O'Neill wants to throw Dylan Levitt into the mix.
No.
Right, keep guessing. Come on, at Clyde SSB. Daniels has now thrown Stephen O'Donnell to the turf. He likes a tussle, according to Roger Hanna. He's been booked already.
Sounds as if he won't see the full 90 minutes.
Might have to calm down ever so slightly.
Yeah, going back to that goal for Livingston, listen, you've got to give them huge credit, but I mentioned it before, the expectation when all these things start to build at Hearts, you've got to be able to handle it, go to these places. If you're thinking you can get anywhere close to the Glasgow 2 and challenge them for splitting them this season, you've got to go to Livingston and win. And yeah, listen, it's always a difficult place to go, but when you look at Hearts this season, it's not been the hardest start to the season. They've not faced Old Firm or anything yet. They beat Aberdeen the first game of the season. We all know how poor they were in that game. The Dundee United had obviously the European game on the Thursday night, so I think just a little bit of tired legs. They got 3-2 win there, and then they dropped Motherwell. So it's not been wholly convincing yet. That's what I would say. And yes, I agree, it's going to take time, but when you bring all these big signings, 6,000 fans go to away games, your new owner's putting a lot of money in, and also being public about how close he wants to be to the big 2, it puts that pressure on you.
Yeah, of course, the size of the club. But Hugh's touched on it there about Hearts getting plodded off the pitch last week. It was from the Motherwell supporters. No Hearts fans left in the stadium. They left at 3-0. So I totally agree. Listen, it does take time to settle in. They're already out the cup, one of the cups.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not going to win the league. Their next hope of silverware is the Scottish Cup. This could be a damp squad for Hearts this season, but it's still very, very early.
You've got the man who cost 7 figures on the bench. There will come a point where you'll simply have to say, OK, on you go, and save us.
More great play from Livy. Muirhead can't quite connect properly though with the cross. So the home side, Davy Martindale, Marvin Bartley and co, certainly enjoying what they're seeing so far as we move towards the half-hour mark there. We're a bit late kicking off, so maybe just shy of that. Livy playing some nice stuff though, Gordon. So not only
changed their style,
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I like that. I like David's. He's obviously been in the Premier League a long time. It was well documented the way Livingston played. They were hard to play against. They played it forward early. They got on his second balls. They were a hard-working football inside, and it worked for them to a certain extent. Then they get relegated. They come back up, and I like the way he's went about his business, David. I think he's more experienced now under his belt. He's looked at the Premier League and thought, do you know what? To get people back into this stadium as well, supporting Livingston, I'm going to start bringing in players and playing to their strength, and that's playing football, and it's been brilliant for them. It really has. That's a great start to the season. Look, I know there's still a long way to go against this Hearts team, but if he could go over a line today, he's joint points with Hearts and 7 points. What a start.
If they beat Hearts, well, we have to hoover the carpets in here and polish the worktops for the assistant coach coming in.
Not a chance. Absolutely no chance. Great surge out of defence by Lewis Mayo for Park. He's fed it to Anderson, but the shot held by Ward. So for all the hype about Motherwell heading into the game, Kelly seem to be enjoying themselves so far.
I like your manager at Motherwell. I like the way he speaks, and he's had a very good start to the season because he took the club under difficult circumstances when the previous manager had lasted 12 games. I don't think Motherwell are out of this by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, but I still think, see, when you define good start to the season, I think he's getting the plaudits the way he's playing. Brilliant. I think the Motherwell fans are loving it. Same like David Martindale changed. A new manager coming in. He's stuck to his philosophy, wants to play. But if he lost this today, 3 points out of 12, Hugh, without a win.
But this would be the only disappointing result.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
St Mirren away,
it's hard games.
Hearts away, Rangers at home.
I know that.
one disappointing result out of 4.
They're 3-0 up. last week at Tynecastle.
Again, but even at that, it's still Tynecastle.
I know that, but I think 3-0 up at Tynecastle will still see it through.
No, but you're saying
any
about
manager that doesn't see a 3-goal
though.
lead through should be out the door. That's what I'm saying. I lost 4-3.
No, but you mentioned it before, Gordon. This is the one that the Motherwell
This is
fans
the
are
one, yeah.
expecting to go and get 3 points today, because it has been quite a difficult start, certainly on paper when you look at the fixtures they've faced, and you probably would have took 3 draws out of that and the fixtures they've had, but certainly today they'd be expecting to go and play against Kilmarnock. But again, I think Kilmarnock I've seen them a couple of times this season. I've been really impressed with the way that Stuart Kettlewell sets up a number of the younger players that have came in the team. He's had to rebuild that squad, and he's done a very good job for me so far.
Game at Firhill coming down a bit after that frantic opening. Remember, Partick Thistle racing into a 2-goal lead. Dylan Easton's penalty bringing it a bit closer.
Well, lots of football left in that one, lots of goals as well, I suspect.
Do you still think there'll be thrills at Firhill?
Wilson the entertainer.
It's not called Firhill now, is it? It's got a new name.
Is it the Wire Stadium at Firhill? Something like that.
Yeah. Do you know that, Hugh?
It's still Firhill though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ayr 0, Queen's Park 1. Josh Fowler with the penalty.
Another team that
Ayr under a bit of pressure.
Yes, definitely for me. Again, they've got big expectations at that club now. I think I thought they'd recruited really well during the summer. They'd brought in a number of experienced players to try and bolster their squad, and it's definitely not happened for Scott Brown so far. 2 draws, 1 defeat, and again this looks like another home defeat on the cards if they can't turn it around.
Yeah, and there's 2 guys in our show that are predicted there to win the championship. I won't name them, but they're on the show today and they're at the games. It's massive for Scott Brown. He needs to get a result today. I know what like it is down there.
Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Entertainment at Firhill, but the game is level. It's now 2-2. Partick Thistle were 2-0 up early on, and they've now been pegged back. Raith Rovers have responded well. That Dylan Easton penalty first of all, and now an equaliser there. We've not even reached half time yet. There's a 4-goal thriller, and at least the punters are getting their money's worth, and
plenty more to come by the sounds of it.
Yeah,
I've got to say Mark will be disappointed with that money. You know, you're 2-0 up, next goal's so important, penalty kick, you can accept that, that's what happens, but try and at least get in at half time holding that lead, because you got off to such a good start.
Yeah, he'll be really disappointed, and probably now he's just wanting to get his players back in at half time to make sure they can regroup and have a few words of wisdom at half time to try and just refocus them, because they'll know they've blown a 2-goal lead as well, so it's always difficult to recover from that.
Yeah, and Raith obviously gets such a lift from that.
Yeah, Ross Matthews it was in 36 minutes. Ross County have also equalised at Dunfermline. Ronan Hale with the goal. East Kilbride are 2-0 up now at home to Forfar. Cammy Elliott with his second of the day, so the goals are raining in down the divisions. Partick Thistle 2, Raith 2, the headline for now.
The set piece genius at East Kilbride is obviously
another set play,
yeah.
We've no idea if they are set plays, but hopefully they are.
Nah, we'll just make it. We'll make it up. We'll give them credit where credit's due. Yeah, doing well, East Kilbride.
Yeah,
you know, they got off to their first league game wasn't great, but since then they've really started to motor. They've got a big squad, good players. I think
they could go top today, depending on how Spartans do.
Yep.
How's Annan doing there?
They're playing Spartans today, away 0-0 at the moment.
Do you want to just cash in for
no,
rather than a 3 berth? I'll just catch you in right now for a main.
Too early for that.
So what was it, Annan to finish above East Kilbride?
Yeah, absolutely no chance.
Can I swap it for a free stay at the cabins?
Oh yeah. Well, I tried that one. You dinged me. Never ask you again.
Elijah Just, who was probably the standout for Motherwell at Tynecastle last week, a brilliant performance from him. He's had one blocked away by Lewis Mayo, so good enough game. There's plenty of entertainment on show, but still it's Kilmarnock with that lead that they got early on.
Well, Partick Thistle fans won't take kindly to being 2 up and then 2-2 before half time, so that's one of the things you have to live with if you're the Partick Thistle manager.
Yeah, fans soon let you know, don't they?
Yeah.
And that's what I said about Scott Brown. I managed down there for 9 years. I don't know if any of you know that.
No.
Yeah, we had heard you.
And I get booed, and let me tell you now, I was very successful. So if you're not and you're losing games and the way Ayr are going just now, he'll come under a bit of criticism. Don't you be kidded there.
Yeah, I think with high expectations as well, it's worth bearing in mind, Hugh, there's a double. It's David Friel not only taking Ayr to win the league, but Adam Ida to be top scorer in the Premiership.
And he's still 30 short of the 30 that he promised.
At least if he leaves, then you'll never know if it could have been true. It's got to be worse if he stays.
His last act as a Celtic player was to miss a penalty in the Champions League playoff.
If he does leave, we'll give David an R pick, because let's be honest about it. He's not going to get any right, is he?
I told you he's 30 short of the 30 he said he would get.
Let's go one last visit to the teaser, Hugh, and then the next time we go will be the answers and the winners. What are you giving us?
There are 4 current SPFL players with 5 or more goals in Glasgow, Edinburgh and Dundee derbies. Name them.
Michael has given a lot of hope, I think, on this man's spell in Dundee, but certainly not Louis Moult.
No.
He's only played in the Dundee derby, if he even has yet. I'm sure he will have, but certainly not enough to score there. Scott McScott thinks James Forrest.
James E. Forrest? No.
I can see
Good guess.
He's thinking there. Loads, still a few coming in. Scott is another one going. Martin Boyle.
No.
Right, okay, we're nearly there. Let's consider this about a 2-minute warning or so, and we'll round it off at Clyde SSB for any late entries. Dumbarton 0, Edinburgh City 1. Robert Mann with the goal 5 minutes before the interval. Smith almost connecting for his second at Livy. So if anything, it's looking more likely that Livy would double their advantage rather than Hearts pulling level, and I don't think that will impress Derek McInnes
or the 6,000 travelling fans who are there. I know that they're side by side, Edinburgh and Livingston, but that's still a terrific crowd to take with you. That's an old firm size crowd to take with you, and they won't be impressed.
I think the crowds this year, you look at Hearts, Hibs are travelling in massive numbers. How long would it have taken them to do that 30 grand in the bar? 2 rounds and that's gone, with the amount of supporters they took over there. You look at Aberdeen, they're travelling in big numbers. Motherwell, crowds are up as well. St Mirren and Hibs, that's what I'm saying tomorrow. I remember being at a game, 17,000 a couple of years ago. So I just think the fans are flocking back to the football.
But once they're there, the Hearts fans today, we agreed earlier, if you're going to be the big shots that you think you can be, you've got to win at places like Livingston.
Yep, it's key. You've got to go to these places, and they're always, we mentioned before, Livingston's is such a difficult place to go and get 3 points. But if you expect to be up where at the top of the table, then you've got to go there and win. And that's why I'm saying the expectation, the pressure, you need to be able to handle that, and it's going to show over time whether the Hearts have got that in them, because their next trip's obviously to Ibrox as well in the league after the international break. And
it won't have escaped their attention that their city rivals went to Livingston, made a number of changes and won quite comfortably a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. So listen, it's the benefit that Derek McInnes has is he's got a big squad. He's got good players on the bench, so would expect changes to happen. If he's not happy with the first half performance, he's got that at his disposal, that he can make these changes that can make an impact.
See, that's an interesting point that Gordon makes there about Hibs after the European tie. Make changes, go there. Hearts don't have the complication of Europe.
No,
they've got the advantage of going week to week. No midweeks to tire or create injury problems. So,
which Derek spoke about and said that he thinks it will be a benefit to them, that you don't have that distraction. Yeah, he's had that obviously previously at Kilmarnock when you've got a smaller squad and it's tight with games, and players are having to go back to back with playing games and going back domestically and winning after a European game. So he mentioned that this season that would be a benefit to him, but obviously today it's certainly not shown that.
Yeah, big chance for Livy. Clark saves from Yenge. Talking about Hibs as well, I think understandably Martin Boyle's getting headlines, Kieran Bowie's getting headlines, Josh Mulligan the signing, but Gordon, you look at some of the other business they've done. I don't know if you saw the goal that Miguel Chaiwa scored the other night. Scott Allen is absolutely raving about this guy. You know, it looks like they've signed pretty well on top of what was already there. Yeah,
and I think they've signed for a shape. I think they've got a good shape about them. I think they play good football, the attacking sense, and I think Cammy was right. Bringing in a bit of experience as well at the back helps you, of course it does. But the two lads up front excite me. See if you can get good quality, and you look at the two wide guys, the Cadden brothers, they can deliver for you. They really can. So you're in with a great shout, but I keep going back to it. Over the course of a season, it's got to be consistency. Look, they're facing a difficult game tomorrow. St Mirren will go there and fancy that.
There can't be many who've had a better opening half than Cammy Elliott of East Kilbride. A hat-trick before the half-time whistle's even gone, and they are cruising 3-0 up against Forford and Barton 0, Edinburgh City 2. I think half-time whistles are probably nearing, Hugh, so let's do this.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
The 4 current SPFL players with 5 or more goals in Glasgow, Edinburgh and Dundee derbies are Lawrence Shankland, James Tavernier, Daizen Maeda, Callum McGregor.
Well done if you got them all right. There are so many on like 4 and 3 and all those names that you mentioned, like Martin Boyle and Simon Murray and Jota. Yes, they were all there or thereabouts, but you had to be on that list. Shankland, Tavernier, Maeda, McGregor. And we have a podium that looks like David O'Neill in 3rd, Blair Maitland in 2nd, and Daz Campbell was the winner. Well done to you. We've got one of these before the break as well.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Motherwell 1, Kilmarnock 1, and it's the man who's started the season on fire, Tawanda Maswanise. Side released down the left. His shot was pushed out by Stryek, and there was Maswanise to score on the rebound. He started brightly in the Cup, he started brightly in the league as well, and he's scoring again here. Tawanda Maswanise makes it Motherwell 1, Kilmarnock 1 just before the break.
I think Roger Hannah will be enjoying that game, and I'd love to have seen the reaction from the Motherwell fans when they get their equaliser. Would they have reminded Stuart Kettlewell of the score?
Perfect time to score, isn't it?
Not. I hope you're not living it up at 1-1. I think that's a risky game.
No, you've got to. Perfect time to score.
Deflating for Kilmarnock though, conceding the goal right
before half time. Let's speak to Roger Hannah.
Yeah, the last act of the first half was that Motherwell equaliser. It's Motherwell 1, Kilmarnock 1. A really good game here at Fir Park this afternoon, Gordon. The former Motherwell manager Stuart Kettlewell jeered as he emerged from the tunnel before kick-off and jeered off seconds ago, just seconds after Maswanise had got that equaliser. Well started brightly. Maswanise had a shot pushed out by Killie keeper Max Stryek in early exchanges. Killie's first flurry forward saw former Motherwell man Liam Polworth just inches wide from 25 yards. David Watson then pinched the ball off Manny Longello and he fed Gennaro Daniels for an angled drive that was saved by Callum Ward. Daniels then headed over from Dom Thompson's cross from the left. The goal was coming, Daniels' goal was coming, and it came after 19 minutes. Lewis Mayo intercepted a ball just around about the halfway line. It was a great passing move. Watson was involved. The skipper Brad Lyons on the right hand side of the box cut the ball back for Daniels to roll it home for his 4th goal of the season. Seconds later, Maswanise across the face of goal as Motherwell sought an equaliser. Daniels, who's been all over the pitch, was booked by persistent fouling, and seconds later he threw Stephen O'Donnell to the floor, and he really does like a tussle, as we said in the first half. Mayo played really well for Kilmarnock, surged down at the defence and fed Bruce Anderson for a shot that was well held by Motherwell goalkeeper Callum Ward, and then Mayo back in defensive duties, blocking a shot from Elijah Just again as Motherwell pushed forward. Brad Lyons booked for a foul on Elliot Watt, and just as it looked as if Killie were going to hold on for the lead at the break, Motherwell got that equaliser. Ibrahim Said freed on the left hand side of the box. A powerful drive, too powerful for Max Stryek. He couldn't hold it, he pushed it back out into the 6-yard box, and there was Maswanise to fire high into the net. It really is all to play for here, Gordon. It's Motherwell 1, Kilmarnock 1.
Yep, I thought there would be more goals in that game, and they'll come in the second half, I am sure. It's some old game, isn't it? You get booed on to the park, you get booed off it if you're Stuart Kettlewell. Who will have the revenge? Will it be Stuart Kettlewell on the Motherwell fans, or the Motherwell fans on Stuart Kettlewell?
How does that feel, Cammy?
How does what feel?
Booed on and booed off.
I've done that many times, mate.
Half time in our featured championship match between Partick Thistle and Raith. Hopefully give you a report from that one when we get the chance. Still playing though, remember. Livy Hearts did start a bit later, so we'll get to David Friel very soon. And a big travelling support, we've been speaking about that all afternoon, making the way from Gorgate. So it'll be interesting to see if people just boo a lot more now, don't they?
Yeah,
it used to be reserved for like when it really was required. You boo everything now. So I wonder if the Hearts fans will express their displeasure.
Well, as I say, I get the feeling that it's going to have to be the man from Brazil, Eju. Get him on. I mean, you're the costliest signing in the club's history. Get on and earn your money.
Need Braga to score, really, just so that I can
play the music,
play the song again. I've got it here ready for every week. He's replaced Darren Lang from last season. Remember that? Bang bang.
Bang bang. Derek Lang.
We've replaced him with Claudio Braga.
I don't think you're playing that this afternoon, Gordon. Unfortunately,
no.
I'm going to stick my neck right out there. I've just got a funny feeling. Listen to the reports coming in the way Livingston are. Going to need a big turnaround in the second half for Derek and Hearts.
Yeah, but again, I mentioned they've got players on the bench that can change the game for them, so that's a positive from Hearts. But it sounds as if it's been disappointing, certainly from Hearts' point of view, and it will feel like a home game because they've got so many fans in the stadium, and I'm pretty sure they will vent their frustration at the players.
Speaking of which, did you see that the other song that's been up there for song of the season is the old Hibs Away? We spoke about that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Hibs Away, I like it. Did you see the SPFL got the guy from KC and the Sunshine Band to sing that the other day? You not seen this?
No.
It looks really weird because he's just, no offence to him, just a kind of random old guy now, just like singing into a mobile phone. But
I know how he feels. Random old guy.
That was thought that was quite creative anyway. Still playing at Livingston, a late Livy corner to be defended. I think there definitely would be boos from the travelling fans if this was to end up in the back of the net. Silla scores, but a foul just before it. Wonder when the ref blew the whistle. That's quite key to this.
Will they have a look?
Well, again, if the whistle went prior to the ball going in, then they can't.
But if it didn't,
maybe take a little look. Might be quite hard to overturn that. Half time, David Friel, take it away.
Plenty of boos here. Gordon, half time, Livingston 1, Hearts 0. As we're saying, big travelling support, over 6,000 Hearts fans here, and they're all pretty angry as Livingston bid to wreck their hopes of going top of the league. They're doing a good job of it just now. Lewis Smith has put them ahead. Davy Martindale will actually be disappointed they didn't score again. They did have chances. Mo Silla just a goal disallowed there just before half time, and it's fair to say the huge Hearts away support are not happy. They're expecting a lot better. It's been a pretty flat first half display, but you need to give Livy so much credit. They have been excellent, played some really good stuff. Carriffy up front. I need to give a special mention to Danny Wilson and Ryan McGowan at centre half. They have been absolutely outstanding at the back. Hearts' only dangers really come from Claudio Braga again, to be perfectly honest with you. He took a long Shankland pass, burst through early on, the angle was against him and he fired wide. Braga also picked out Shankland at the back post, but Hearts' captain's header was deflected over. It never looked like bothering Jerome Prior. To be honest with you, as I said, Livy have played a lot of nice stuff. They forced a couple of corners but never really came to anything, but then came the opener in 26 minutes. What a goal it was. Lewis Smith been in brilliant form this season. He took a Daniel Finlayson pass, Harry Milne pressed him, he nutmegged him, glided inside onto his left foot. Xander Clark was maybe expecting a curling shot, but Smith instead drilled a low shot into the bottom corner from the edge of the box. What a goal it was. Hearts were shell shocked, but Livy just went for a second. They kept going. Robbie Muirhead crossed for Smith, he couldn't connect under pressure from Harry Milne this time. Xander Clark then made a huge save from Tete Yengi after the big striker found space, and then just in a late corner before half time, Mo Silla did put the ball in the net, but the referee had already blown for a foul. So Livingston well on top, and Hugh was saying you wonder how long before Derek McInnes looks to his bench and pitches in the man from Brazil. Half time, Livingston 1, Hearts 0.
And hopefully we'll get you the first half picture from Firhill and a full roundup of the scores when we return.
The fastest goals, the experts' opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Half time in the 3 o'clock games across the country. Not as many games today, of course. We've got loads to come tomorrow. We didn't give you the half-time picture, from Thistle Raith yet. Let's get that for you right now.
Half time here at a sodden Firhill, and it's Partick Thistle 2, Raith Rovers 2. A frenetic opening to this one, and as you've said in the studio, Mark Wilson's lads made a flying start. Raith Rover keeper Josh Ray was called upon early, needing to intervene after left back Paddy Redding posed a question with a floating effort into the box on 5 minutes. That was perhaps the warning the visitors failed to heed, as just 2 minutes later Thistle were in front. A Redding ball down the channel was picked up by Aidan Fitzpatrick on the left hand side, who picked out Tony Watt, who stood free and alone in the 6-yard box to tap home and grab his first league goal of the season. Provider turned goal scorer on 13 minutes, the highly impressive Fitzpatrick sending his man the wrong way with a lovely step over before drilling a right foot strike past Ray. Raith boss Barry Robson was telling his players to calm down in a neat 1-2 between Paul McMullen and Dylan Easton in the penalty box in 22 minutes forced Thistle captain Lee Ashcroft into a rash challenge on McMullen, and referee Peter Stewart immediately pointed to the spot. Easton dispatched the resultant spot kick, and the goal actually seemed to calm the game down a bit after that manic start. That didn't last long though. On 36 minutes, McMullen took a long ball on his chest and rounded Thistle keeper Clark. His touch had taken him to the byline, but he managed to still pick out Ross Matthews, who had timed his run and prodded the ball home to level things up. Thistle did carve out a late chance when Ashcroft headed over from the bar from a corner. All square here at the break, and more of this please for the second half.
Looking forward to that. Thank you to Tom Grant for the picture there at Firhill. Let's give you a full roundup of the half-time scores. Won't take long in the Premiership. Livy 1, Hearts 0, Motherwell 1, Kilmarnock 1. Into the Championship, Arbroath 0, Airdrie 0, Ayr 0, Queen's Park 1, Dunfermline 1, Ross County 1, Partick Thistle 2, Raith Rovers 2, and St Johnstone 0, Morton 1. Into League 1 we go then, where it's Inverness 0, Alloa 0, Montrose 2, Peterhead 1, Queen of the South 1, Kelty Hearts 0, Stenhousemuir 0, East Fife 0. And into League 2, Clyde 0, Elgin 0, Dumbarton 0, Edinburgh City 2, East Kilbride 3, Forfar 0, Spartans 0, Annan 0, and Stirling Albion 0, Stranraer 0. We'll do the English Premier League to finish off. It was a full-time result there. Chelsea 2, Fulham 0. At the break, Man United 1, Burnley 0, Sunderland 0, Brentford 0, Tottenham 0, Bournemouth 1, and Wolves 1, Everton 2. We are back with the second halves next.
Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell and Gordon Dalziel are in the studio. We've got the top team, I usually say all around the grounds, but just really at a couple of them today because it's a bit quieter. Got a huge day to look forward to in the Scottish Premiership tomorrow. Let's go back to Livingston. Would Derek McInnes make half-time changes again, David Friel, like he did last week?
Yeah, I think, I'm just looking here, Gordon, I think there's going to be at least one coming on, and I think the one that's coming on looks like Kizaridis, and I'm not really surprised by that because Hearts having this first half really lacked a bit of width. You know, I was talking earlier about Derek McInnes, the team shipping goals recent weeks. It's not like his team, and I think he's going for a kind of pretty solid structure today, but it's not really worked. So Kizaridis is coming on for the second half, and he's going to give Braga and Shanklin a bit of a hand. I think that might make a difference for Hearts because they were pretty safe in that first half in possession. Everything wasn't as much attacking players we've maybe seen from him. So he's coming on and he's going over to play on the right flank just now. Livy still aren't out just yet, so we'll wait and see if there's any changes for them. But Hearts, Kizaridis is on for the second half.
And it looks like Stuart Kettlewell has gone down the disciplinary route. Dackers and Lowry coming on, Daniels and Lyons both on bookings. Go off at the break. Let's get these second half started, shall we?
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get set for the season with expert pharmacy support.
I like it, Hugh. We're short on numbers today in terms of games, but poised nicely, even in our championship game. 2-2 at the break. Surely Hearts are going to respond. They have to in front of that big crowd, and we're level at Fir Park as well.
Short on games, long on intrigue. We spoke earlier on about how fickle fans are now, and the Hearts fans, if this were to go wrong and they blew the chance to go top of the league and they couldn't win at Livingston, the Hearts fans then stop and say, hold on a minute, we've got all this money, we're bringing in players, you've gone out of the cup, you're 3 down to Motherwell at home, and now you've lost at Livy. Not good enough, not happy, more booing. And with regard to Fir Park, it's the old favourite that we all love. Who gets the bragging right? Stuart Kettle over the Motherwell fans, the Motherwell fans over Stuart Kettlewell. So, short on games, long on intrigue, and that includes Partick Thistle. 2 up, now 2-2. And those Partick Thistle fans don't need any invitation to be fickle.
Yeah, we're looking at Scottish football just now, and the common denominator is there's not a lot of happy fans about. You know, they're looking at their teams. But look, big second halves, especially, I do agree with Hugh. Big second half for Derek McInnes and Hearts. It's early on, of course it is, but the guys have said it. If you're going to put your foot down and say, right, we're here to, really challenge Celtic and Rangers. Even as early as this, you've got to go to Livingston, pick up 3 points.
Only just underway in that one. Craig Halkett, the man to come off, he was also on a yellow. So a few managers keeping those things in mind when they pick their team for the second half, just making sure they don't make life even more difficult for themselves by going down to 10 men. And we'll see how these second halves progress. What we'll do here, Hugh, is have you got your teaser there? I'll give you a wee second to get your pen out and just finish it off, and then I'll give you the who am I. It's a good one, this. I'm looking forward to unleashing it on you all and seeing who can come up with the answer first. No early goals to tell you about anywhere in Scotland.
I think Hugh's got up and ready. Are you, Hugh?
I'm taking out the last part of it because I think the last part of it might
Oh, don't you worry, I'll get you an amended version. How does that work? You ready? Let's do it, Hugh Keevins.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I have played alongside Jim Leighton and Mixu Patalainen. I have managed Paul Lambert, Robert Pires and John McGinn. I have won multiple domestic trophies in Scotland. Who am I? Played alongside Jim Leighton and Mixu Patalainen, managed Paul Lambert, Robert Pires and John McGinn, and I've won multiple trophies in Scotland. Who am I?
I think that's extremely doable, which means speed is more important than ever. Get thinking at Clyde SSB. Send the answer over there. You can also see the question written down if it helps. Let me tell you about this.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Good halftime team talk, inspired substitution, whatever you want to call it. It is level in Livingston. We said Livy would have been delighted with their halftime advantage. We expected a Hearts response after the break, and safe to say that is exactly what has happened. We said the big crowd coming down as well would have been really urging them on, desperate to see a response after the interval, and you guessed it.
Claudio Braga.
Was it?
He's equalised. Well done. Kizaridis with the cross just on, and he scored the header. So there we go.
He is definitely the cult hero, isn't he? Just amazing to think that he had the missed penalty that put Hearts out of the cup. But Claudio Braga,
just a little bit of bragging just to sort of pat myself on the back. That clip is actually 38 seconds long. It's got all the build up, and I somehow managed to time it. I managed to just talk long enough just to unleash the key. I'm impressed with myself. I'm not going to lie.
Well done.
I know self-praise is no praise and all that.
Us three will have a song for you next week. I won't sound in like that.
Robbie Dees has been booked for taking down Maswanisi, so the Cards get a fair bit of usage over there at Fir Park. Still level there. Level in both games then. Livy won, Hearts won. Claudio Braga, that's exactly the response Hearts were looking for, Cammy.
Perfect start again. Derek McInnes, I'm pretty sure he had some strong words at half time. It seemed as if they were sort of second best in that first half. We mentioned the expectation, which I'm pretty sure Derek McInnes will have reiterated to his players at half time. Listen, these fans are here to see you win this game of football, and they've absolutely delivered. A perfect time to score because it'll give them a big lift, and it's the last thing that David Martindale wanted to do was concede a goal early on, which will put them under the cosh. But they just need to ride the storm that'll get thrown at them at this moment in time and see where they go from there.
6,000 fans all singing the song.
Is it amazing?
It's good if you're a player into it.
That's what you're there
That's
for.
Brilliant.
I'm loving the second half teaser because of Robert Pires.
Oh, yes.
The man who, my grandchildren's finest moment when we got him to record Hugh Keevins is a specky tube.
Ever heard this, Cammy?
Yes, I have.
Pires said Hugh Keevins was a specky tube.
I think I've got that teaser.
I think the teaser's very, very doable.
I think I've got it.
Let's see what you're giving us. I can never read your writing, but give it a go anyway.
I'm going to go him.
Yes, you've done it. Well done. Queen of the South 1, Kelty Hearts 1. Aaron Arnott with the goal. 53 minutes on the clock there, level things up in League 1. We keep a close eye, of course, on Partick Raith. St Johnstone trailing at home to Morton.
That's a big result.
Surprise. And now, by all accounts, it is an absolute stunner from Eamon Brophy. Roger Hanna and Andy Halliday will have to pick their goal of the weekend.
We mentioned him
Monday.
A couple of weeks ago when he signed for Morton. I thought he'd be a really important signing for them because we know he can score goals. It's just keeping him fit, keeping him on the pitch. I think he's a top striker, certainly for Championship level.
How pathetic is this? Frankie Kent wipes out Yengi. The big Livy assistant with his skin tight t-shirt jumps out the dugout, giving it the big man act, trying to act all aggressive on the touchline.
The big laughing giant.
Have a word with yourself.
Big teddy bear.
Honestly, he laughs in his sleep, doesn't he?
Loves it.
Must be brought up tomorrow. Must be analysed,
Will
this
we
type of
give it
behaviour.
all of that Arsenal fan now? Come ahead, son. Come ahead, son.
Probably.
Some boy, isn't he?
Robbie Muirhead with the long range free kick wide of target. Hearts do look like they've had the old kick up the backside at the break though.
We're all expecting that, weren't we? And he made the change, and he was looking for a response, and he certainly got that. Nothing better as a manager when you get at half time. You have a few strong words. You're saying, right, I'm looking for that reaction. They go right out, and all of a sudden they're back in the game.
I think we know that modern football is about way more than that. And you look, even at the top level, some of them might be kind of quieter thinkers and tacticians and all that sort of stuff. But maybe Scottish football still leaves a bit of room for it. There was, again, maybe unfair, but I think there was probably an accusation that was the bit Neil Critchley was lacking. Maybe quite unlikely, hard to imagine. I don't think they'll be struggling in that department now.
No, absolutely not. Derek McInnes has been there and done it. And again, sometimes it is just that louder voice and a bit of energy from your manager, a demand at half time that gives you that little bit of spark. He knows he's got good players in the changing room, so it's just finding how he gets that out of them.
To press the buttons, isn't
absolutely.
it?
And again, it seems as if he's done that at half time, and he's used all his experience. He's made a change, but I'm pretty sure it was probably a lot of the words that he said at half time that'll have.
What did you respond to in your career? Did you respond to a bollocking? Did you respond to pat, an arm round his shoulder?
I was more.
I was getting subbed.
No,
how does it work for goalies? Come on, catch it.
Exactly.
Jump higher.
Get yourself out and demand your box.
No, see, to be fair, I genuinely didn't mind getting shouted at and that loud voice coming at you. Again, it gives me a little bit of a spark going onto the pitch. So yeah, it's I didn't mind it at all.
Who was the liveliest, scariest, whatever you want to call it, manager you played under?
It was Jim Jeffries. He was the first manager that I had. Jim and Billy were absolute hairdryer treatment to everybody, and that's just the way they went about. So it's probably
that was old school.
Stood me in good stead because that was the first manager I dealt with. So I seen that first place. So anybody after that was pretty easy to deal with.
Brilliant combination.
They were great. They were great guys as well. I really enjoyed working and learning under them. And Jim gave me my debut actually against Motherwell, Gordon, so many moons ago.
Motherwell, there was a VAR check there for a penalty. D's on Maswanise. Roger thought it looked a decent claim. The accusation is that he went down too easily, no penalty after the VAR check.
If you're the manager and you're in there giving it the hairdryer treatment at half time, you've got a new signing from Brazil, you've got Claudio Braga. Do the foreign players even understand what's going on?
Yeah, you see the managers, you can tell by body language, the anger, that he's not happy.
He's got steam coming out your ears, looks the same in every language, doesn't
Exactly, you can tell.
I take your point though, culturally sometimes it'd be a bit different.
I don't think it'll happen as much in this day and age as it did. Certainly not, because players respond differently nowadays. But I still think you'll see that frustration out of Derek McInnes at half time, that he wants more from his players, and they've certainly responded.
Yeah, they are. They're really sort of going for it now. Livier pinned back a series of corners, so a crucial period in the game, you suspect.
I asked the question because I read something during the week about Nico Raskan, that he had an opinion on everything and voiced it very loudly every day. And I just wonder if he has rubbed the manager up the wrong way.
Obviously he has, Hugh. There's no doubt about that. I think there's a split in that dressing room, of course. But as a manager, you've got to be the strong person in it. Listen, he's talking about, I used to hear most games the great shout at half time, you've got 10 minutes, you've got 10 minutes. And I used to go, brilliant, absolutely great, you'd only 10 minutes left of your day. Get put off, hooked, off you come.
Dedicated pro.
Ultimately, if it has the desired effect, then fair enough. But Kaiseridis is apparently too hot to handle for Livingston now. Derek McInnes needs to sort of tread that line where fans say, well, why not starting these? Because last week it was Braga, you should have started him. Now it's Kaiseridis, should have started him. Dunfermline 2, Ross County 1. Zach Rudden has scored on his Dunfermline debut. And what was significant about Zach Rudden's transfer, I told you this on Thursday, let's see if you remember, let's see if you listened to me.
I'll tell you.
What did you ask the question?
Zach Rudden, what's significant about his transfer to Dunfermline?
It was his car broke down the way there.
No. He was signed by Livy in this transfer window and sold by Livy in this transfer window.
You didn't tell me that first, did you?
Or was it last night?
Last night.
Why did you come to the conclusion his car broke down?
I'll let you off the hook. It was last night.
Thank you.
I think that's incredible. Because it was a couple of months ago, so people almost forget that it was. I think they did it right at the start of the summer. But Livy bought him in this window and sold him in the same window. That can't happen very often up here. Surely not.
And did a fee go both ways?
Well, there must have certainly been a fee for Dunfermline to get him off Livy, or some arrangement if he's only just signed. You know what I mean? It's not like his contract's up.
Yeah, I think there was an undisclosed fee. I'm sure I've seen that.
It would have to be, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I've got to admit, nothing against the lad. When I seen Premier League, I thought it was just a step too far. I think in the
Premiership, if you will.
Yeah, Premiership, sorry. But in the Championship, I think he'll be a real good signing for them.
Listen to this. Wilson getting animated in the dugout, screaming at his players. That's not like him.
Wilson is? Oh, I love to see that. Oh, I love to see that.
Red face.
I was going to say, does he get red face?
Oh, he gets red face.
No, he's probably standing there saying to Alex, shout this. Here, shout that one.
Braga's now hit the side netting, so it's very much Hearts at the moment looking to try and take the lead there in Livingston. A bit of a lower key start to the game at Fir Park in the second half. We've got your teaser up and running as well.
I have played alongside Jim Layton and Mixu Patalainen. I have managed Paul Lambert, Robert Pires and John McGinn, and I've won multiple trophies in Scotland. Who am I?
Yeah, keep coming, keep the answers coming on that. I tend to be quite selective with the updates I give you from England. They'll just dip in and out as of when. But Man United won, Burnley won. Did you watch the Grimsby penalties the other night? How good was that?
Yeah, and then I watched the Amarim's press conference live, and I thought, this man, you might be forgiven for thinking he's coming apart at the seams.
Sitting with the tactics board and all that stuff, the little magnets.
Sometimes I hate my players, sometimes I want to quit. I mean, don't say that. They'll only write it down.
It was great though, wasn't it? For I think
it was great for every
neutral in the world wants that result to happen.
The penalty kicks, it must have been a nightmare, right? Because when you take a penalty kick, you score, you think, pressure off, and then you keep thinking, what's coming back round to me? Oh no. But it was drama.
Did you see the goalkeeper after it as well? Saying
he's a Manchester United fan.
I'm a bit gutted, I'm a Man United fan.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Motherwell 2, Kilmarnock 1. I didn't think Motherwell's top scorer this season would be the left back, but there we go. It's Emmanuel Longello again. Third league goal of the season from left back already. Good play from Stamatolopoulos. Fed Maswanise, shot blocked, and there goes Longello low, left footed into the corner. He even scored in the League Cup as well. He's a free scoring left back.
Wow. Well, Stuart Kettlewell will be getting it tight now from the Motherwell fans.
Yeah, brilliant. Great response just before half time. That gives you such confidence. Team talk a little bit better in the dressing room. He's been out there, stuck to the game plan, 2-1 up. I still think they're like Hugh and probably Roger sitting at Fir Park, who's enjoying the game. I still think there are a few goals left.
Deserved goal, according to Roger Hannah. I'm almost certain it wasn't what he was signed for, Cammy, but that's quite something. He scored in the League Cup, and he's got 3 in the Premiership already from left back.
Yeah, incredible. I've liked him since I've seen him come in. I think he's a very good player, and as you say, if he's adding them goals to your team, then it's a real asset. But again, touching on that goal just before half time, I think that gives them huge momentum going into that second half, and they've obviously taken on. It sounds like they're dominant in the second half performance so far, but I'm with Az. I don't think it's the last goal in that game.
It's been a bit of a problem position for Motherwell. Either they have guys who are quite good, but it's a short-term loan and you don't see much of them, or guys who are not very good, and it's been a very disrupted position, that left back. So the chance for him to try and make it a bit of his own. Speaking of which, do you wonder, Gordon, if Motherwell would bring another in? Because Ewan Wilson, who played there a lot last season, has gone on loan to Raith Rovers.
Yeah, I think he's building a good squad there. He's obviously wanting cover for all positions, Gordon. At the beginning of the season, he was left with 2 fullbacks playing centre back, so he doesn't want to be caught with that, especially if he can get 3 points today. You would look at that, and that's what I says to Hugh, if they lost, would it be a good start? if he gets 3 points today, I think it'll be a really good start for him.
There we go, third top. Early days.
Yeah, a bit early for the league table, isn't it? I always think
not tomorrow it won't be.
Maybe the second international break. No, but I mean it still is though.
Yeah.
Like I think you can allude to the gap between Celtic and Rangers specifically. Well, put it this way: as it stands, Rangers are 7th. Anyone got them to finish 7th?
No.
You know,
but it's a fascinating city now. You know, both sets of fans unhappy, living day to day, and Russell Martin living game by game.
I think, don't tell him we said this. Hopefully he's not listening. I think Roger Hanna probably summed it up quite well, Gordon, where neither's in a good place, but I think he said that Celtic's floor is higher than Rangers. So when Celtic are bad, it's a bit stuffy, could be better. When Rangers are bad, it's
6-0.
It's disastrous. Is that fair?
I thought it was a very good point from Roger.
You should praise him once for the season
No,
and then move on.
I do. I like when he comes out with things like that. He's right. If Rangers have a poor game tomorrow, it could be anything. You seen that the other night there. They were all over the place. So it could be a big day for. The one thing I'm desperate to see, and Hugh was talking about it, and he's been on about a couple of days now. Celtic are out there searching for players to play in the game. Rangers, obviously, Raskin certainly won't play tomorrow. He surely can't go with guys like Max Aarons and Aaron and people like that. Does he go with Rothwell in the middle part where Celtic are very strong and dominant at times?
Well, what's the choice there then if he doesn't? Because by all accounts there's no way Raskin's going to play. So
well, Diamandi coming back in, maybe.
Asgard, Cameron, Barron, that's your sort of 5.
Diamandi in there as well. He was another one.
But who would play as that 6, that Raskin role? Well, it's Rothwell's role, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah. And you just wonder, because of the way he's going about his business, Russell Martin, that he'll stick to that. The two guys particularly getting the most stick at Rangers just now are Rothwell and Aarons. Aarons deservedly so. He's been poor in both positions.
Do you think the sending off the other night accelerates the return of James Tavernier, or is it? I mean, he's fresh, Max Aarons, if nothing else.
No, but listen, I think you've got to look at the bigger picture. James Tavernier should have been playing before that for me, certainly. Personally.
But what I mean is, so the other night, that's his team. It's a big game. He puts Max Aarons in. Let's say it even goes okay for Rangers. They still lose or whatever, they go out, but it goes fine. Max Aarons stays in and he plays tomorrow, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But now, knowing what we know.
Yeah, because listen, it seems that the manager wants to play him ahead of Tavernier. He must rate him more than Tavernier, but certainly.
Do you think he still might want to tomorrow?
I think he might want to, but I think the external pressure is now starting to push towards it. He has to make decisions. And for me, Tavernier should be playing. Again, I watched the game against St Mirren. I felt as if he should have been playing midweek. He didn't. Russell Martin stuck with playing Max Aarons. I think it was the wrong decision. I think when he looks back at it, potentially is he going to admit that it was the wrong decision? I don't know. If he plays Tavernier tomorrow, then I think he is admitting it.
You look at not just Russell Martin. I would say a massive percent of the Rangers fans wanted Max Aarons to play in front of James Tavernier, because they've always been saying that Tavernier, he's been a great servant, but his time's up. I've never believed that, right? But Max Aarons come in there, and I think everybody thought, right, that's the end of Tavernier. They're now clamouring for Tavernier to get back into the team. I totally agree. Max Aarons is absolutely nowhere near Tavernier. Absolutely nowhere near him.
You can see at the reception he got at St Mirren at Paisley last week when Tavernier came on. It was probably the best reception I've seen for a long time in James Tavernier coming on as a player.
I know James Tavernier's had his moments in this fixture as well, but would you be a bit worried about Max Aarons and the occasion even tomorrow?
Absolutely, yeah. I don't think he's handled the Rangers shirt at all yet. I think the pressure's got to him. I know he's only a younger guy, so again he's not that young, but again the expectation, he's never had that expectation in his career, that size of club. I think it's got to him a little bit, and he's certainly not showing the quality.
I think I'd refer you to the first half teaser. Players who have scored 5 goals or more in Glasgow derbies: James Tavernier.
Yep.
And by the same token, Dyson Maeda, last season Player of the Year, this season's mystery of the year. But I'd be tempted to play Maeda through the middle. I know he had a terrible miss in Kazakhstan that cost Celtic big time. But I'd be tempted to play him and get two wide men either side.
Might be no other option really with Adamida business.
I fail to see how Adamida can possibly start this game.
But here's a little thing about that, Hugh. I totally agree with you. Maeda through the middle for me all day long. But in this fixture, when Tavernier played it right back, Maeda caused him. Everybody used to hold their breath.
Yeah.
And we've seen it before.
Was that a few ago though? I feel like there was a couple since that didn't quite go that way.
Plus the fact,
Rangers, Celtic haven't won any of the last three. So,
and Maeda is not playing anywhere near his form. Me personally, tomorrow I would play Maeda through the middle, because the two centre halves, if it's the two centre halves that played the other night there, they cannot defend for their lives. They're all over the place. They're not a partnership. You can see that.
He's badly off form, Maeda, and has been since the season started. But Celtic are in such a predicament because they've made such a mess of the window that he'll have to play through the middle, because you can't have Yamada or Johnny Kenny.
And do you think you have to then play the new signing from the start?
Without doubt.
It's quite something, isn't it?
I'm with him. I think that game is brilliant for your debut.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, Cammy?
Yeah.
Have you played in it? Sorry for
Impact.
Do you think nowadays though, because it's been done, but was it Juranovic? There's been a couple over recent seasons. Do you think nowadays though managers are so set on their plan and their structure and the instruction? I saw the joke the other night that Oliver Antman was at his best before he knew the Rangers tactics, that sort of thing. But sometimes you need to throw them in, don't you?
I would have no hesitation. See, if you believed that was a player that was going to be your target man or your fullbacks or whatever it is, I would play him in that fixture. People go, it's a massive. It's the best fixture in the world to play in, Gordon, because the fixture drives you, takes you.
Brendan Rodgers cannot be exempt from criticism from the two games against Kairat Almaty. Celtic, that length of time against the team ranked 311 in the world, so he cannot be exempt from criticism. However, he's been hung out to dry with regard to this fixture. The signings that he wanted, and we were on and on yesterday about the timing of signings. Two guys who come in on Thursday, one will have to start, Balikwisha, and the other one will definitely come on, because Kieran Tierney can't last 90 minutes.
To be fair, Saraki's not played a lot of football. I think I saw he's played a handful of minutes since the start of the year. I don't think he's played a lot, but he was there and he trained and stuff, so he's there. He's there
go
to
back
be picked.
to the evidence of your own eyes. Kieran Tierney does not last 90 minutes, and will not last 90 minutes tomorrow either.
You do just wonder if away from home he still reverts to that. Liam Scales could still go to left back and another centre back could come on, that sort of thing. But
for me, again, that's again indicative of the state that Celtic have got themselves into. Move Scales to left back. His distribution of the ball is terrible, and particularly at Ibrox whenever he plays there.
Yeah, look, it is definitely a more extreme example. I'm not for a second pretending otherwise, Gordon, but this first game does sometimes take place between the sides before the squads are settled. Two seasons ago, easy to forget, Matt O'Reilly played in the fixture. And he left like the next day or whatever it was. This one maybe is about just kind of getting through it. I think the problem, obviously, from a Rangers perspective, is there's a genuine fear that the league title's gone by the first meeting of the sides.
Yeah.
Celtic's pressure is different. It's still there, but Celtic's league title hopes don't disappear with the defeat tomorrow.
Yeah, in the words of Roger Hanner, by September 1, I think you will see a few different faces in the building, and then you've got to take it from there. But tomorrow is so important. It's so important for both teams. I think that, honestly, that both of them get a point. I think they'll just walk away happy.
I might actually be talking rubbish about that. I think I'm now second guessing myself about the time frame. Don't worry, it's been a long day. Hendry, Charles Cook and Priestman all on for Motherwell. All the 3 new signings. We've got another one of these.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And it was a goal for Partick Thistle are back in front. It was a brilliant start. They were 2-0 up, remember. They then got pegged back to 2 each, and they have gone back in front again. A 5-goal thriller at Firhill. It is going the way of the home side so far.
Well, good from Alec Ray and Mark Wilson. The last we heard from Firhill, Mark was getting animated, red in the face. Maybe that does work for Partick Thistle players as well as any other kind.
Yeah, it was Logan Chalmers with the goal, Gordon.
Yeah, brilliant. Especially after a disappointment, you're 2-0 up and you're thinking, off to a brilliant start, get pegged back 2-2 at half time. Mark getting a little bit angry, and it seems to have paid off. His players have reacted to that. 3-2, can I hold on to it? I still think there are goals there.
Yeah, the hairdryer treatment obviously worked from the sidelines.
Although the hairdryer treatment, he'd be doing his own hair. Never mind anybody else's. But I'll tell you what, it could be a good result for him, because you're right, Raith have started well. They won the Fife derby last week,
especially since St Johnstone are still trailing.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
My humble apologies, Matt O'Reilly didn't play in that game, but what I was thinking of is he started the season in my head. I was talking about, thinking about how it can look different come the end of the window, basically. And
I think it's a certainty to look different.
There's so much, Hugh's right, there's so much negativity already for both that it's almost like people are not willing to wait until then.
I know, because the fixture's right in between it. Yeah. And I think the fixture is so massive. The way that what happened during the week, Celtic fans not happy, and there's a bit of both. I'm split in this camp. I do believe Brendan Rodgers and the team have got to take a bit of criticism. They played them 210 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever it may be, with time and everything. Can't score a goal against them. I agree that signing should be, and I take Hugh's point on board. Then you look at the disaster on Wednesday night. Yes, they went down to 10 men, but the basics for me were shocking. It really was. And Russell Martin has got a massive job. So both sets of fans not happy, different ways. I think it's such a big game tomorrow.
It's a massive game, a huge game for me, for both clubs. And again, the thing that I look at when I look at Rangers is the way they're conceding goals. That's what concerns me, and it's been consistent throughout the season. Poor goals are conceding. I know Celtic, European midweek, they struggled to break down the Kazakhstan team, but domestically they have been scoring goals. And again, they've been keeping clean sheets. I know you said, Hugh, that you're not convinced by them defensively, but they have been keeping clean sheets.
Yeah.
Write it down. You've got a whole list of topics to tackle with us on the phone lines. Simply who'll win tomorrow, how you see the ramifications of tomorrow playing out, what about the teams, what about Raskin and Mijovski and Ida and Balikwisha and various others. Get all your thoughts over to us in about, what we say, about 25 minutes time, something like that. Give us a call. In fact, not even that, it'll be about 20 minutes time. So let us know all your thoughts a bit later on. Let's focus again on today's action though, today's news. What about your teaser, Hugh, as well, before we go any further? Let me help you with some wrong answers if we can.
I have played alongside Jim Leighton and Mixu Patalainen. I've managed Paul Lambert, Robert Pires and John McGinn. I have won multiple trophies in Scotland. Who am I?
Daz Campbell thinks it could be John Collins.
No, it's not.
A few going for John Collins. Loads going for John Collins, actually. That is by a mile the most popular wrong answer. Okay, keep your guesses coming in, please. All Motherwell at the moment, nearly 7,000 down at Fir Park. Big crowd. Stamatolopoulos has headed wide. Interesting that he's the one that he stayed on. Gordon, quite often he would come off, and but Charles Cook, Callum Hendry, new signings all come on. Oscar Priestman as well.
That's a good thing now. There's different options there, and good options. They're good signings. They're good players to come off the bench, get you the winner, get you back into the game. There's always a goal threat, and I think that's where Motherwell will have a good season. See if they can keep people fit in the right positions. Sort of the suspensions, make sure that they don't get silly suspensions, because squads like Motherwell need to do that throughout a season if they're going to have a good season, because top 11 and a couple of players that can come on and change games at different times for you, such a big difference for them.
Yeah, all Motherwell at the moment, says Roger Hanna, but they would definitely be looking for that third. This is maybe when nervousness from last week would creep in, Hugh, and you start to get jittery because you know that you can concede late, but by all accounts they are playing pretty well at the moment.
Yeah, but time is on their side. In other words, time's running out on Kilmarnock. So I see Motherwell hanging on and possibly scoring a third. I'm now intrigued by Livingston, because after the early goal and the crowd chanting about Braga, gone quiet.
Yeah, it has died down a bit. David Friel was telling us that it's gone. The Brazilian biggest ever signing has come on, Aguirre, and is shot well wide from 25 yards.
Yeah, did.
Come on, your debut at Livingston, you're thinking, what have I signed up to?
Yeah, it's going to be a
But
bit of a culture shock.
You could be on the prediction of the day, because you said a draw. And it's
I've got all the predictions as we speak here.
Oh, there's a long way to go in these
I've
games.
got Motherwell, Partick and Livy and Hearts draw, mate.
Long way to go in them all.
The bookie basher.
Don't forget, we are of course here tomorrow just before midday, taking you right through all the action from Ibrox, with the usual fun on the phone in afterwards. Actually got big games as well after that. Really looking for. I love the Dundee derby. Do you know this?
Yeah.
The first one last season was the first one I'd ever been to as well, and I went.
Right.
Do you remember it? It was the first weekend of the season, and it burst into life. I think it was a 2-2 draw in the end. I thought they were great value, those games last season.
Yeah, no, listen, they're great derbies. Been involved in a couple, and yeah, it was. I just think that when you look at the two sides, they're both desperate on results as well. So it's going to be a cracker of a game tomorrow. Dundee United, they've made a lot of signings, there's been a lot of change. They've obviously had European games early on in the season, and then Dundee have had again a couple of decent results. The one notably at Ibrox that they got the point at, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. It should be an absolute cracker.
Who do you fancy there, Cammy? Who would you make favourites?
I fancy Dundee United to edge it, actually. Yes,
the man I love to watch on Tayside Derby Day.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
It's an equaliser for Kilmarnock, and it's a howler from the goalkeeper again. Motherwell very much in control like they were last week. He's dropped a cross, and it's a tap in for Kilmarnock. 2-2.
Well,
could be a change of goalkeeper next week, let me tell you.
I have to interrupt Gordon Duncan's private grief to go back to my point about the man I love to watch Tayside Derby Day, Simon Murray, because he clearly feels it all more than anyone else. Dundee fan, born and bred. You remember he scored the penalty against Dundee United, ran the full length of the pitch to have it large, as they say, and he's a major danger to Dundee United. It'll be a great game.
St Johnstone have equalised against Morton. Josh McPake with the goal. It's George Stanger who scored for Kelly. The Motherwell goalie's run 40 yards out. He's up to the ref. He thinks he was fouled, Gordon.
Oh, it's old one. It's old.
I used to do that all the time.
Did you, mate?
Yeah.
40 yards, I'm not having that. To shape your in now. You never looked after yourself 40 years. But that's
this is it's a common problem, to be fair, isn't it, in modern football. And I'm not going to go all sort of back in my day, how could I do that? But when there's such an emphasis on a goalie that can do things with his feet but overlook what he can't do with his hands, it's a real problem.
Yeah, I think the full goalkeeping situation is now reversed. It's more, as you quite rightly say, how do you handle the ball with your feet? For me,
handle the ball with your feet.
Aye, handle the ball with your feet. You're quite happy with that. I think, me personally, I think your first priority is to save the ball, right? I really do. If you can do both, then you've got to be a top goalkeeper in the modern day football. But me personally, I'd rather be a manager that's got a guy that may not be as comfortable with the ball at his foot, but he can save it. And I think there's difference now in the goalkeeping situation.
I think especially the reason I think there can be too much on it, Cammy, is although Motherwell play, and they really play, I've been to a lot of their games, I've watched a lot. I actually don't think they ask the goalkeeper to do that much. They do ask him to play quite high, but I don't think they do ask him to do loads with his feet. And if you're saying that another goalkeeper can't do that, I think that's a worry.
Yeah, first and foremost, for me, I totally agree with Taz that you've got to be a capable goalkeeper, making saves, dealing with crosses, all the normal aspects of goalkeeping. Before you work on playing from the back. For me, you can work with goalkeepers from playing out from the back, because a lot of it is the way your setup is. You can go through it in training. You can work with your centre halves, your midfielders that come in and drop in, and again you can improve yourself with your feet. So first and foremost, again, the proof's in the pudding today. The goalkeepers cost Motherwell a goal when they're in complete control of that game, and then he's cost them another goal, and it was the same situation last weekend at Tynecastle. So I think first and foremost you've got to have a goalkeeper who's a top quality, good handling, shot stopper, and then work on the feet.
Only thing I'd like,
especially Gordon, when it's undoing good performances, rather it's not like it's
Tynecastle last week when you're control. You're thinking, if my goalkeeper has a decent game, we're picking up 3 points. We're in control today. If the goalkeeper does the basics, we'll probably go and pick up 3 points, giving Kilmarnock a lifeline. The one thing I'd like to ask about Mull goalkeeper, and I've seen this with many goalkeepers in modern day game now, but he plays extremely high, extremely high. And I just wonder what the thinking is behind that.
But that's not a problem. That's not.
But you get chipped with Clyde.
But that was the game one, and you've seen how the stuff's evolved.
And your problem's got to be it's the basic saves.
Oh, see, he just dropped a cross and dropped one at the feet of Braga last week. It's
basic
position.
Basic errors.
It's when he's on the line. It's when he's on his line. It's a problem, not when he's 40 yards from goal.
Yeah, no, and listen, we've seen it. I think in the Rangers game early on, I've seen Rangers trying a shot from distance. So teams will identify that. But again, as a goalkeeper, if you're asked to play that high line, the sweeper keeper, then you've got to realise when players have maybe got that bit of time and realise the chip might be on. But as Gordon says, it's the actual basics of goalkeeping he's not getting right, and it's costing his team.
Ayr 1, Queen's Park 1 as well. A lot of late goals going in. Matthew Shields' own goal there. So Scott Brown needed a break. I don't know if that yet would satisfy the Ayr fans, but they are level.
A draw at home to Queen's Park satisfies the home fans, really.
No, I agree with you, Hugh. I've been in that camp many a time. Never drew to Queen's Park, but I do know what the Ayr fans down there are very demanding indeed.
So still 1-1 at Livy. The Hearts are blowing their chance to go top.
It seems as if Livy weathered the storm. You knew that when Hearts scored early in the second half, they would have that bit of momentum, but it seems as if Livy have managed to handle that no problem.
But it was late getting kicked off in the second half, so there's still a bit of time for Hearts. Or there's still a bit of time for Livy.
Yeah, it has quietened down a bit, but Hearts certainly enjoyed more of the second half.
If Hearts drop points and draw today, does that mean it's a poor start for Hearts?
Well, I think, Cammy, 3 in a row where you go out of a cup competition, have to come back from 3 down at home and only get 1 point when you're going into the game thinking we're good for 3, and then go to Livy. I think those 3 games, the fans are saying, hold on a minute, this should be better.
Maybe, but if you keep up that rate of points throughout a season, you'll have an outstanding season.
Absolutely,
so
but again, what I would say is that have you faced, again, probably Aberdeen or one team you'd identify being certainly a top 6 side. The other sides, Motherwell potentially could be, Dundee United potentially could be, but no guarantees. I think you're going to face a stronger Celtic, Rangers, Hibs. So I feel as if he'll look back, Derek McInnes, if he doesn't get 3 points today. Yes, missed opportunities.
Spartans 1 and 0, Cammy, I'm afraid to tell you.
Dazzler.
Ethan Drysdale.
I'm coming off the Jags
with the goal. Johnny Katrumbis is back from injury. He's replaced Stephen O'Donnell from Motherwell, who by all accounts had been playing very well. Motherwell were looking good for their lead, but that goalkeeping error has seen them be pegged back. Let's round off the teaser, Hugh, whilst we've got the chance, just in case we do get our late drama. We always hope we get late drama of some description, so let's do this.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I played alongside Jim Leighton and Mixu Patalainen. I managed Paul Lambert, Robert Pires and John McGinn, and I won multiple trophies in Scotland. I'm Big Eck, Alex
McLeish. I would say verging on too easy for you all today. Loads of you got it, well done if you did. Very quick in off the mark was Rob of Reason. Stuart H was second, and Scott McDougall was the winner. Well done to you. A very good effort on there, Alex McLeish. So many of you got it, so many of you were quick, but those 3 are the winners. Right, late drama, what's happening? Where are we getting it, if anywhere?
I think we're getting it at Fir Park. or Firhill. Maybe Livingston.
All right, great.
Well, it's all there for late drama, isn't it? Every game's set up for it.
Motherwell had a free kick on the edge of the box. New signing Callum Hendry, but he hits it way over, almost into your flat window, I think. Stenhousemuir 1, East Fife 1. Nathan Austin's equalised late on there.
There's no VAR at Firhill, so they should be finished any minute now. It would be a good result for Mark and Dalit Ray if they can get it. St Johnstone look as if they're going to drop 2 points.
Oh, there's a big goal as well. Dunfermline 2, Ross County 2. So hanging in there, because this has been a bad start. It would have been pretty disastrous if Ross County had lost again, but Ronan Hale's got his second. A player that many people felt was probably too good actually for the Championship, but he's got a double today.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mark could be joint second.
Yeah.
In the next couple of minutes.
Uh-huh.
And obviously Celtic in the Cup, so what a start to his managing career at Firhill.
Should ask for that lift home from the wedding now.
Oh, you'll get it, no problem at all.
Don't forget, once these full-time whistle goes, it really is over to you to give us a call. 01419511025. What have you made of today's action? Hearts fans, Motherwell, Livy, Kilmarnock, whoever is out there, Partick Thistle, and of course tomorrow, one of the most intriguing build-ups to a game between Rangers and Celtic in a long time, because there's always something there, there's always a narrative, as Hugh would say, but this time it is off the scale. The pressure on Russell Martin. Rangers start to the season. Nicholas Raskin, James Tavernier, Joe Rothwell, Max Aarons. From the Celtic perspective, sack the board. Adam Ida, does he play? Does he not? Champions League elimination. All there and more. Give us a call, we'll take them very soon, and we'll have a lively old chat between nowish and 6 o'clock. In the meantime though, we wait patiently to see if we get any late drama in any of our games. We must be approaching full time at Firhill as a late Thistle corner. Aidan Fitzpatrick, best player in the park according to Tom out there for us. He's just forced a save with a great effort. It's gone out for a corner.
Would you not be keeping that ball at that corner flag?
Yes, he will do. He may well do that. Yes, they are indeed wasting time with the ball in the corner. Good old game management they call it, isn't it?
Love it. That's the way you do it.
Teach Mark all about that?
No. But that'd be a great 3 points.
That would be massive, wouldn't it?
Especially him over the line now.
We've touched on it.
Joint second.
Raith are in a decent bit of form, so that's a big win for Partick.
Well, we've got to survive those few seconds. Just keep it there. Kick it over to Queen's Cross.
Definitely has gone quiet
at
Livingston, hasn't it? Hearts started with a flurry, got their goals so soon. It was backs to the wall stuff, but nothing really doing at the moment. Still time though. David Field confirming nothing really happening. It'll be a disappointment.
Well, you've got Braga, you've got the 7-figure man from Brazil, Eju. You're really thinking, well, surely one of these guys will haul us out of the bother and put us top of the league.
Yeah, they're getting frustrated, Hearts as well, so maybe not going to be their day. Braga's off now. Elton Kabangu comes on.
Oh, there's another proven goal scorer. Yeah,
got some squad to
James
choose
Wilson not entered the pitch, which we're a little surprised by.
Kabangu probably tailed off a bit, to be fair, didn't he? I think he started well. Not sure it's quite as convincing now.
That'd be a great point for Livy as well.
Yeah.
David Martindale would be delighted with that. Got to say that.
Must be over now at Firhill, surely.
Maybe
no, not yet. No.
Because Mark was doing all that shouting, he got probably pulled up, wasted time.
Stuart Kettlewell's side have got the chance to give the ultimate kick in the you-know-whats, because Motherwell looked like they were going to go on and win it, thought they would, then the goalkeeper makes a mistake, it's 2-2. Can you imagine? Kelly went and got themselves a winner.
Oh. Well,
4 minutes added, there's about 3 left probably there.
They start at 3 o'clock level and at every count, and they're going to probably end up level at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, astonishing.
If this goes on much long, there we go, we've got a full-time whistle at Firhill. Well done Partick Thistle, they've beaten Raith Rovers 3-2. We'll get the story from Tom very soon.
You know, because Raith, last time I clapped eyes on them, they were beating Dunfermline 2-0 and looking the part, but it's a terrific afternoon for Mark, because when you're 2 up, hold back to 2-2, the nerves start jangling. But they've survived, and St Johnstone have dropped 2 points as well.
Yeah, full time. St Johnstone 1, Morton 1. 5 added at Livy, so there is still time there for a Hearts winner, or indeed a Livy winner.
That's hero time. Enough time for someone to make himself a hero.
Kilmarnock free kick in the 95th minute. We've got a goal in Livingston.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And it's Livingston 1, Hearts 2, and it's that man Kizaridis on at the break. He's inspired everything. He's set up the first, he's scored the second. It's a beauty, a curler from the sub, and it looks like Hearts will make that short trip up the road with 3 points and a 2-1 win.
Well, I said 5 minutes added on, that's hero time, and the hero is Alexandros Kizaridis. So delight all round. Doesn't matter if it was iffy in places. You leave that ground top of the Premiership table.
Yeah, it makes a massive difference. That's a huge goal, and especially when you score such a late goal, it feels ever so good. And as I mentioned before, would that be a bad start to the season? No, it certainly looks as if it would be a wonderful start to the season for Dennis McInnes.
Yeah, Hearts heading for an unbeaten start and another win, 3 out of 4 if they can hang on here, and I'm sure they would. A free kick, Kilmarnock, it comes in, and there's a great save this time by Ward. We have criticised, pushed out a point blank header, and it's full time. Roger Hanna, what a game.
It is, what a game indeed. Motherwell 2, Kilmarnock 2. Stuart Kettlewell gets a point on his return to Firth Park. A 4th straight draw for both teams. They cannot be separated in the Premiership table, and they could not be separated in a terrific clash which swung both ways here at Firth Park. Kelly led, well turned the game in its head, and then an awful error. Another one by Motherwell goalkeeper Callum Ward handed Kelly and Kettlewell that much prized point. There were jeers for the former Well manager when he emerged at the tunnel before kick-off, and there were chances at both ends in the first half. Gennaro Daniels hit an angled drive, saved by Ward, and then headed over the top from Dom Thompson's cross, and his goal came in 19 minutes. Lewis Mayo intercepted a ball out defence. It was fed to David Watson, then the skipper Brad Lyons on the right side of the box, and his cutback was knocked home at the back post by Daniels for his 4th goal of the season. Motherwell's response was good. Tawanda Maswanisi's shot across the face of goal. Lewis Mayo then blocked a shot by Elijah just as they pushed hard, and then in added time at the end of the first half they got their goal. Ibrahim Saeed freed in the left side of the box. His shot pushed out by Kelly goalkeeper Max Strike, and there was Maswanisi to fire high into the net for his 6th of the season. Kettlewell made a couple of changes in the break. Tom Lowry and Marcus Dackers on for the booked pair of Lyons and Daniels. Robbie D is then booked for taking down Maswanisi, and there was a VAR check for a well penalty after another tussle between Dees and Maswanisi in the box. No penalty given, but Motherwell did get a second goal in 62 minutes. Good play by Apostolos Stamatolopoulos. He fed the ball to Maswanisi. His shot was blocked into the path of left back Manny Longello, and a smashing low left foot shot into the corner past Stryeg for 2-1. Motherwell really good for the lead at that stage, but in 81 minutes Kelly were handed an equaliser. A deep cross, a routine cross to the back post. It looked bread and butter for Ward. Somehow he dropped the ball right at the feet of George Stanger for a tap in for 2-2. Both had free kicks in stoppage time. Motherwell substitute Callum Hendry firing way over the top, and then in the 95th minute a ball in from left, a flashing header and a terrific save by Ward. He just about redeemed himself. What a game. Motherwell 2, Kilmarnock 2.
Well, the draw specialists keep that run going. We're not finished yet, but Hearts do have that advantage. Is there a late sting in the tail? Can Livy produce something? It'd be unlikely based on what we've seen in the second half, but the Hearts fans who erupted in celebration just a few moments ago probably facing a nervous wait now to see if they can get it over the line. There were 5 minutes added. That was about 5 minutes ago, but Hearts scored within that time, so you would imagine that'll be extended a little bit to allow time to catch up after those celebrations that we mentioned. Still nothing. We did give you the full-time score from our other featured match, which was Partick Thistle beating Raith Rovers 3-2. Some really good games today. Lots of drama, lots of goals, lots of talking points. Let's hope tomorrow can live up to that as well, because we've got 4 fixtures that on paper look like absolute crackers, and we'll be taking your calls on them right now. Got a funny feeling there's one fixture in particular that'll dominate the phone lines, so 0141 951 1025. Dial us right now, because it's actually getting busy already, so give us a call. We'll get them worked through and hopefully speak to you between now and 6 o'clock. Still not finished in Livingston. They've been made to work for it today.
Well, such an important game. for both sides, but Hearts top of the league if they can see out the match to the final whistle, and psychologically that's good because you throw the ball over to Celtic and say, well, if you want to go back top of the league, you're going to have to beat Rangers at Ibrox. So that adds further intrigue to tomorrow's match.
Still nothing. 5 o'clock, Gordon, honestly.
I know.
Change days.
Yeah, but
You'd be thinking of being up the road by this time, but still going in Livingston. Surely we're in the closing stages. I wouldn't mind if there was even more late drama. That would be, as a sitter, an absolute sitter for Livingston to level Wilson. He's got to do better, and that will probably be that. That is an absolute sickener for Livy, who after falling behind so late on then have a golden opportunity of their own. It was actually McLennan, with the chance. He couldn't convert, and that's probably one that will keep him and Davy Martindale up tonight. They might have snatched that point, but it doesn't look likely.
Absolute sickener, did you say?
Full time, David Friel.
Full time, Gordon. What a game. Livingston 1, Hearts 2. Incredible. Over 6,000 Hearts fans came to Livy to see them go top of the league, and they delivered just about. Claudio Braga cancelled out Lewis Smith's opener before super sub Alexandros Kizaridis grabbed an injury time winner. There was then drama right at the end. Conor McLennan, 3 unmarked from a corner, should score, heads wide. Hearts survive, Hearts win the game, and it's all about Alexandros Kizaridis. The Greek winner came off the bench at half time. He created the first goal and sent the away fans home happy with a brilliant finish to win it. The huge Hearts support went crazy after that goal. They're still going crazy, no wonder. They are daring to dream, they are daring to see if they can stay up there, and this was a huge win for Derek McInnes' side. Braga missed the first chance of the first half before Smith put Livy ahead in 26 minutes. Great goal. Took the ball on the right hand side, nutmegged Harry Milne, glided into the box and just drilled a low shot into the bottom corner. What a goal it was. Livy came close again through Smith, Teti Yengi, Mo Sullivan, and a goal rolled out for offside. Derek McInnes had to change something at the break, and he threw on Alexandros Kizaridis. What an impact he made. Immediately the shot saved, and then he created equaliser for Braga. Brilliant cross, the finish was even better. Braga guided a glancing header past Jerome Prior. Hearts kept pushing, record signing Aguirre came off the bench for the last half hour. He was impressive, the Brazilian. He had a shot blocked, he fired wide from 25 yards. He was then denied by Prior after being picked out by Lon Shanklin. The ball then fell back to Braga. It looks as if he was certain to score, but it hit the post from 6 yards. Hearts huffed and puffed after that. McInnes throwing more subs, and they finally found the winner in injury time. Livy made a mess of a clearance. Shanklin picked out Kizaridis on the corner of the box. He took it first time, curling finish, absolutely superb. The Hearts fans went crazy. Then there was that late skid at the end. Conor McLennan should score, he didn't. Hearts win. It's ecstasy for them, agony for Livy, but all that matters is Hearts are top of the league after 4 games. Full time, Livingston 1, Hearts 2.
What an incredible day in the Premiership, and a good day in the Championship as well. Let's get Tom Grant to tell us what happened between Partick Thistle and Raith.
Full time here at the Wire Stadium at Firhill. It's Partick Thistle 3, Raith Rovers 2, and Mark Wilson's side put an end to Raith Rovers' 13-match unbeaten league run, and it was an explosive start by the home side that matched the fervent local crowd. The Jags getting themselves in front after just 7 minutes. Left winger Aidan Fitzpatrick driving into the Raith box before finding an unmarked Tony Watt, who tapped home for the second goal in Thistle colours. 8 minutes later it was 2, again Fitzpatrick involved, dummying his marker with a neat step over before smashing home past Josh Ray. The men from Kirkcaldy looked a bit shell-shocked coming to Glasgow, having not lost a league game since March the 1st. But on 22 minutes they had hope of preserving that record. Paul McMullen brought down in the box by Lee Ashcroft, with referee Peter Stewart pointing to the spot. Dylan Easton sent the keeper the wrong way from the spot to pull one back, and on 36 minutes they were level. Great work by the hard-working McMullen, saw him take the ball past Clark in the Thistle goal and feed it to Ross Matthews, who fired it home. Ashcroft put a header over the bar for the Jags right on half-time, but the teams did go in all square. The second half had a lot to do to try and match the first, and for the first 30 minutes or so it couldn't, the match turning scrappy as the rain lashed down on top of the players. But that all changed on 75 minutes, Fitzpatrick finding himself free in the box and just putting it into the danger area right across the face of goal, where Logan Chalmers was waiting at the back post to put the Jags back in front. It was Chalmers' 6th goal in 9 matches this season. That sparked Raith back into life, desperate not to lose that unbeaten run in the West End of Glasgow. First, Jack Hamilton should have scored when free at the back post, following a cross from Lewis Vaughan, the number 9 putting his effort over. And then it was the woodwork that saved the home side, the busy McMullen's effort rattling the underside of the bar, following good work by Matthews. Raith were pushing hard. Jordan Doherty had his head in his hand in the 89th minute when he could only find the side netting with his right-footed volley. But it's now 7 points for Partick Thistle, who wrap up the win. That's 2 wins, a loss and a draw. Raith Rovers, their first league defeat of the season. Full time here, it's Partick Thistle 3, Raith Rovers 2.
Oh, what a game. But it's now over to you on the phones. If you've got today's football on your mind, please share it right now. 01419511025. I know for certain lots of you are looking ahead to tomorrow, so let's do it right now.
This season, I want to feel it from the start, from the whistle, from the first touch. Want to beat the odds, want to take an early lead, want to see why he costs so much money, want to shout pen before the ref is even called in, want to see the call go our way for once. I want to hear their lot go quiet, want to see them leave early, want to drop into the group chat to tell them I've seen the future, want to hear them agree, and if not I'll say, want to bet? Bet Fred. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
You can't do much in under 5 minutes. Boil an egg? Sure. Cook a roast dinner? No chance. But comparing car insurance prices with mustard.co.uk? Easy. See what you could save in just a few minutes. Click mustard.co.uk. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
What's on TV? The answer is a lot. There's never been more choice over what to put on the box with an abundance of great new shows, but you can miss them all if you don't know where to look. And that's where the Pilot TV podcast comes in, your essential guide to every show that matters. Each week we sift through the very best in prestige TV to help you decide what's worth spending your time on and what isn't. So join me, James Dyer, as well as venerable TV critics Boyd Hilton and Kay Ribeiro, and let us help take the stress out of your downtime. The Pilot TV podcast, because you can't watch everything.
You can't do much in under 5 minutes. Boil an egg? Sure. Cook a roast dinner? No chance. But comparing car insurance prices with mustard.co.uk? Easy. See what you could save in just a few minutes. Click mustard.co.uk. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
Super Scoreboard's open line 0141 951 1025.
Good day of Scottish football action, plenty of drama, plenty of goals, big win for Hearts. Motherwell and Kilmarnock keep their drawing streak up. Partick Thistle maybe one of the surprise packages emerging in the Championship. I know for lots of you it's all about tomorrow, but whatever you fancy, give us a call right now, just like Justin has on the line. How are you, Justin?
Nervous. Nervous, guys. Not been on for a wee while, but good to speak to you. I hope you are well.
Thank you.
My point was one that the reason I've not been on is I've been giving Russell Martin a bit of time. As you maybe remember, I was kind of quite critical of Clement and I thought his time had came, but Martin, for me, there's one thing kind of standing out which I was really keen to get your guys' opinion. He's coming across like a Championship manager, and what I mean by that is it takes a special type of person to deal with the atmosphere of the old firm, especially managing it, and if you look at how he's coming across, his body language, almost reading between the lines, it's as if, well, a draw is not a defeat, it's not really a bad result until we get nights like the other night. The players he's brought in are a good few of them are young Championship players that are not used to the expectation or the pressure. And I don't buy into him coming out with, well, I've been with it, played for the club. He was there 6 months and was poor. So, and during a poor period of time, I was just keen to think, do you think he's projecting that kind of Championship philosophy where it's no win at all costs, win every week mentality onto the players? Because that seems to be how it's coming across.
It's funny, Hugh, it's one of the first go-to accusations, I think, in this city that ex-manager doesn't get it, and often wonder if it's something people just leap to when results aren't good. However, do you see a lot of people sort of fearing that side of things with?
Yeah, well, when we lived through the last days of Philippe Clement, the fans would come on and say, we need Rangers men, and they eventually got Barry Ferguson and Billy Dodds, and there were moments when they loved Barry Ferguson, particularly winning at Celtic Park, and there were moments when they thought he's just as bad as the last guy. I don't think that Russell Martin fully gets Glasgow. He said things like, there are no crucial games at this stage of the season. Yes, there are. There's one tomorrow for a start. But I think ultimately, as Justin will appreciate, the only thing that matters in this world are good results. So he's had 3 draws, and that's put him under severe pressure. If he gets a win over Celtic tomorrow, I believe the mood will change. You'll have a fortnight created by the international break, and when he comes back, he'll have hearts. Now, there will be a terrific test of him and his players. If he loses to Celtic tomorrow, the Hearts game becomes a nightmare for him. So only results will determine whether he's long term or short term. He doesn't quite understand this, call it what you like, of a city. Cauldron, goldfish bowl. I don't think he quite gets it, but the manager who cannot beat Celtic cannot remain the manager of Rangers.
What do you think of that, Gordon? Because again, Russell Martin's played here, he's played for Scotland. He says he gets it, and I think it's always, like I say, always something people look for. But there are a number of comments, a number of things that just seem to be annoying the Rangers fans. It feels like the things he's saying are annoying them as much as the results at the moment, rightly or wrongly.
Yeah, I don't think he's got the size of the job. It's okay, MK Dons, Swans and Southampton, decent clubs, but when you come to a club the size of Rangers, the situation Rangers have been in, you've no excuses. You've been backed by the board, you brought in your own players, your own team, and if you do that, you've got to hit the ground running. It's as simple as that. At the start of the season, he must be sitting there thinking, wow, you know, in other clubs he's allowed a wee draw here or a poor performance or whatever it may be. The only thing he could offer the other night there, and I think he's starting to feel the pressure. Of course he is. He knows he's under severe pressure. He knows a massive percent of the Rangers fans want him out of the club already. So the pressure is mounting, and he come out and just say, look, apologise to my fans, and then bum up a player that he's left out of big games, he's captain, because he probably knows he needs to get back to him. So I think he's starting to realise the size of the task that he's got in front of him, but he'll need to accept it, and he'll need to learn very quickly, because he'll be out of job soon.
Yeah, listen, I think the scrutiny that everything Russell Martin says in his press conferences, that he maybe wouldn't listen. He's absolutely not felt that with his previous jobs with Southampton, MK Dons, Swansea. He's never been in that situation, and now that things aren't going well, you look at everything. I look at his comments after St Mirren game. He mentions it's not the end of the world if they go to the Champions League. For me, you don't need to say that. You don't need to put a negative spin on it, because it is the end of the world for the Rangers fans. They want to be in the Champions League, and that's where they expect to be. If you don't get there, then you need to say the right things after that game, and I just feel like he needs to get a handle of the situation.
Yep.
It maybe is slightly bigger job than he actually thinks, but he definitely needs to watch what he's saying after the games, because it is annoying the Rangers fans.
Let's bring Justin back in while he's waiting patiently. Justin, how big is tomorrow for Russell Martin specifically?
Massive, absolutely massive. I don't think, and again I appreciate the fan's opinion, I genuinely don't think tomorrow is going to make a difference either way. I think if he wins tomorrow, he's not getting the credit for it. I think a lot of Rangers fans have lost faith in him already. He seems to us in the stands and everywhere else that he's lost the dressing room, that he's kind of carrying on with what seems to be blind arrogance and a philosophy. But to a degree, and again this is maybe slightly controversial, I think the board and the Kavanagh and the 40 Rangers have got to take a wee bit of responsibility for this. All we've heard is they're businessmen, they know what they're doing, but as Hugh's alluded to a couple of times, businessmen can't lose money, and if fans stop turning up, and if there's empty seats and it's costing the club money with Russell Martin being there, I would like to think they're businessmen enough that they'll pull the plug and make a decision. And for me, they've got to, a Rangers manager has to have a winning mentality, and unfortunately it's felt like the last two or the last three haven't had that, and that's what's missing. It's great looking at tactics and styles and way we play and building, but first and foremost they've got to instill a winning mentality in the team, and that just doesn't seem to be there just now.
You're talking about other people, taking the blame, Hugh. I've seen a lot this week, Rangers fans quoting Kevin Thelwell, from what he said when Russell Martin was appointed. His teams play dominant football, they control the ball, dictate the tempo, impose themselves physically, they press aggressively, work relentlessly. These are all characteristics we believe are required to be successful at home, away and abroad. The Rangers fans just so far things can change, but so far are saying that they've not seen one shred of that.
Kevin Thelwell was appointed by 49ers Enterprises. 49ers Enterprises chose Russell Martin over other candidates for the job. Therefore, as well as the players, this is on 49ers Enterprises. And to be having your judgment questioned 10 games into the season can't be going down well with Andrew Kavanagh. I think it's a coarse environment here. It's just the way it is in Scotland, and particularly in the city of Glasgow. A draw is a disaster, a defeat's a catastrophe, and that's the case tomorrow for Russell Martin, because if he loses that game, the games that come thereafter become even greater in importance, greater in danger. Hearts, Hibs in the Cup, it builds up and builds up. He really needs to win tomorrow.
Let's bring in, we'll thank Justin first of all, and substitute him for David, who's on the other line. How are you, David? Sorry, David, that was my fault. Take it away, on you go.
How are you doing, alright, lad?
Yeah, good, thanks, good.
Regular caller, as you know, but Hugh, Gaza, what is this man doing to your club? The Mora, we need a digger in that midfield. Now, to take away Nico Raskin out of that team, who are you going to play? Joe Rothwell. I wouldn't have given that man a game for a Sunday Football League team in the way he's playing these days.
I think the Rangers fans should be concerned by the Raskin situation, because in a very short space of time he and the head coach appear to have fallen out big time. And if 49ers Enterprises are going to stick by Russell Martin, then Raskin has to go, because he won't play football for Rangers. Rothwell was sold, like so many players, including Mark Sarons, as being the type of guy that could do it, but so far he's not.
There's a few that's not done it, Hugh. You've got to say he's not just alone. Look, he's neat and tidy on the ball at times, but for me, he doesn't get about the pitch good enough. He doesn't play killer passes. He doesn't protect the back four, because of, you see the amount of chances that Rangers are giving up. So it's a very good point. It'll be interesting. I keep saying it. I am desperate to see both teams tomorrow. The Rangers midfield, I would play Raskin, because I think
he's not going to play, though,
I know that's what I was going to say, but unfortunately that has come to an end between the manager and Raskin. I would be amazed if Tavernier's not back in the team tomorrow. The other ones, tactically, everything about it, you hear there Kevin Thelwell talking about Russell Martin's teams. Well, I'm with the Rangers fans right now. I have seen none of that.
The problem with this Nicholas Raskin business, Cammy, is that this is not just a normal debate about which player should play. This is clearly a lot bigger than that. This has clearly been going on a while, whatever it is. The comments after the Motherwell game, self-preservation mode. Who's dropped the next game? It's Nicholas Raskin. He's never really established himself in the team. The Rangers fans think he was their best player last season. Russell Martin's entitled to try and find guys that really fit his system, but Joe Rothwell doesn't look to be any better. You've then got this week, not only is he left out of training with the first team, Russell Martin then tries to be quite cute with how he delivers the update on that message. Fans find out about it. This has developed into quite a big deal.
Yeah, it's a massive story, and again, it's a harmful story for Rangers. Again, when you look at the team tomorrow, I would have Nico Raskin in the team against Celtic. I think he was one of Rangers' best players last season. I think most Rangers fans would agree with that. He was a real impact player when he was on the pitch and drove Rangers forward. And now they've got Joe Rothwell in there, who's not doing it at this moment in time. He's not finding his form. And there's obviously been a huge fallout between him and the manager, but this is the last thing the manager needs is to have a fallout with a key player for me, a player that can make the difference on the pitch. He's now not going to be available, so yeah, it seems so fragmented in Rangers and in the background at the moment. But again, the proof is going to be in the pudding tomorrow with the result.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be interesting. I keep saying it, that middle of the park. Just that the back four as well. You look at that back four and you're thinking they're giving up chances. Their defending is very, very poor. I keep going back to Gornite. If I was a Rangers supporter and I travelled over to Belgium, the one thing I would have been more disappointed with is the basic stuff. Going with runners, matching runners, going and picking up men at certain times, not ball watching, not switching off. Basic stuff footballers know day in, day out. You're taught that since you were a young kid. Rangers in a poor place just now, but it's one of those games tomorrow. Would you be surprised with the way Celtic are as well, that Rangers go and get a home victory?
One thing,
absolutely not. It's in the balance.
One thing that keeps coming back into my head: Alloa scored twice at Ibrox.
That's a fair point for now. Let's thank David and bring in Cammy. What's your take on it, Cammy?
I just think it's the toxic fans that have what I'm meaning the team perform every week, because they've been on their back to day one. I mean, the first friendly we played the pre-season, when the guys were just in the door and half of them were only just in a couple of days and all that, and getting good at the park at half time.
Yeah, it can't help, right? I get that, but this isn't the fans' fault, surely.
Because they're unable to get their confidence. They're not able to adjust to the system and get used to the team, because let's put it this way, right? What happened when we won the league? We played fans. So it's funny how in the last 50 years the only time we won the league is when there was no fans there.
The only way the fans come into the equation for me is if they frighten the players who've come in.
I think that's maybe what Cammy is accusing them of.
I've never been used to a club the size of Rangers. I've never been used to this concept of a draw is a disaster, a defeat's a catastrophe, and I'm afraid that then that the fans aren't to blame. The fans are being fans. The players have got to show more resilience than that on a personal basis.
Well, that's it, isn't it, Cammy? The other Cammy on the line, I actually think is onto something, in the sense that it is a very difficult environment. It's a very unforgiving environment. It's one of the most extreme football environments. But here's the problem: the environment won't change. You don't just snap your fingers. You're Russell Martin. You can't just go in front of a mic and ask the environment to change, because it won't. So what you need to do is recruit players that can handle it.
100%. The environment's always been that environment as well. So you go back years and years, and all the players that have been successful at Rangers, won trophies, won titles, that environment, that demand's always been there from Rangers fans. It's never ever changed, and it will never change. So ultimately the players, as you say, it's all about your recruitment. Can these players come in and handle that environment? Can they play again when the noise is there from their own fans? They need to go over adversity and get through that, so to make sure they get results. Because listen, it's all about results. And for me, Russell Martin, when he first came into the job, with his first few interviews, he mentioned it time and time again. It's all about winning. It's all about winning. Now I listen to his interviews when he's not been winning games. It's all about progression. We need to go on the journey together. It's a learning job. So again, it's just his mannerism has changed for me, the way he says and tries to deliver that message. Because when he first came in, I thought it was a clear message. It's all about winning, and that was the right message for me.
Every time someone phones Cammy to say he deserves time, there is part of me that likes it, because I think you're right, the football landscape's getting a bit mad. How can you sack a manager in August? Can't keep sacking a manager. There's so much of me agrees with that. However, is it not a concern to you that when Russell Martin is asked directly, name one thing you've improved since you came here, he couldn't quite answer it?
I bet Stephen started things he's improved. He would go, he's up his cell and all that. It's not for me to say what's improved at the club. Ask somebody else what I've improved. That's what he was getting at. Everybody's piling on him, so he expects a bit of fight back.
No, I thought that was a kind of naive answer. It was a terrific question. He didn't have a terrific answer. And it's not a trick question. Tell me one thing that's got better since you got here. And I think he tripped over himself, as he did frequently during the interview, which led me, as a long time attendee at these press conferences, to think he's now a man under pressure and he's feeling it.
I always like a different slant, and this is no harm to Cammy, but he's genuinely the first person I've heard or seen think Russell Martin did well in that exchange by playing it down and passing it on to someone else and not wanting to bum himself up or whatever. I think that is a majorly minority viewpoint of how that went yesterday.
Yeah, it certainly put the manager on the back foot, and it was the only way out to sort of deflect it over to staff and people in the club. I think everybody would agree right now, I'm the same as everybody else, right? You don't want to sit here and want managers sacked so quick, and we're not even out of August and we're talking about Rangers man getting sacked or whatever. But it's the supporters. The minute the supporters and the percentage of them, not just 50-50, there's a massive percent want him out of the club. I think you've got to handle it in better ways. Look, I don't think he'll survive if he loses tomorrow.
On Wednesday night, having gone down 9-1 on aggregate to Club Brugge, Russell Martin said in his post-match press conference, we have qualified for the Europa League. No, you haven't. You failed to make the Champions League and fell into the Europa League.
I suppose they had to do something in the first qualifier to guarantee that. So listen, we can split hairs over that. But thank you to Cammy. It is always nice, genuinely, to hear the other side of the debate. What about the green half of Glasgow then? I don't suppose you're feeling that much better about yourselves heading into tomorrow either. What are the main issues that are bothering you today? Let us know.
Get the new Google Pixel 10 Pro on EE and save a huge £544. And talk to Gemini about anything you see.
Like reorganising my living room?
Exactly.
Or helping us decide which top to wear with me jeans.
Yep, that too.
What about my old phone?
Trade in and save even more. All on the UK's best network. No wonder tech lovers are choosing EE.
Introductory offer ends 15th of September. Trading discount dependent on device. Savings across contract. Eligibility, credit check and terms apply. Credit by EE Limited. Verified best network at ee.co.uk/claims.
Oh, Jamie's got a new car. He only passed his test last week. Chloe and the kids on the school run and their new hybrid, and the Flemings from 23 off to see their daughter at uni. Get car and van insurance that's right up your street at parkerscompare.com. Created by the experts at Parkers, we're 100% independent and dedicated to helping you find the right insurance policy. Quick and easy, you could compare quotes in just 5 minutes from some of the UK's leading providers. For car insurance comparisons you can trust, visit parkerscompare.com. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
This season, I want to feel it from the start, from the whistle, from the first touch. Want to beat the odds, want to take an early lead, want to see why he costs so much money, want to shout pen before the ref has even called it, want to see the call go our way for once. I want to hear their lot go quiet, want to see them leave early, want to drop into the group chat to tell them I've seen the future, want to hear them agree, and if not I'll say, want to bet? Bet Fred. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
After they play, you have your say. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Hugh Keevins, Gordon Dalziel, Cammy Bell are in the studio. We're asking you for all your thoughts on today's action, previews for tomorrow, something else entirely. Please keep them coming. Of course, lots of you on about tomorrow's game already. Celtic fans, we gave quite a bit of time there to the Rangers side of the arguments. How are you feeling? Because you're obviously not in a brilliant place either. You've had a tough week debating where it's gone wrong, gone out of the Champions League, signings. That's now developed as well, because Adam Mida, is he even going to be there? Is he going to play? He was meant to be going to Swansea, but Celtic haven't signed a replacement yet, so he's back. How do you see tomorrow panning out? Give us all your thoughts, please. 0141 951 1025. Whilst you do get your calls in right now, let's go Brendan Rodgers, since we're asking for you Celtic fans. This was his update yesterday on Adam Mida.
You know that there's interest in Adam, but there's no one can leave here unless we get players in to replace. It's as simple as that. There's been negotiations and chat around it, but I have to have players in here before I can consider letting anyone go. I just think it's logical and it's common sense. You know, it's, as I said, we're really light in that area of the field, and I'm pretty sure there'd be a number of clubs that would want some of our players, but there's absolutely no way we can move anyone out unless we have absolute guarantees that there's going to be people to come in to replace.
It sort of applies to the effect of, Hugh, Oh yeah, well, where was that when Kyogo was sold then? Why did we sell him if there wasn't a replacement?
Yeah.
Which is fine, but the whole point is, once you have done that, you certainly can't do it with the next one.
No.
You know, with every one you go down the line, the situation becomes more pressing.
We are 18 and a half hours away from kick-off at Ibrox, and Celtic are looking for players. It is indicative of a shambolic transfer window. I have no doubt that Balikwisha will play in the game from the start. The Adamida situation is laughable. He's been moved out of Celtic, remember, because he's flopped. Celtic are basically getting rid of him, but he has to stay here and perhaps play because there's no one else, because of the window being a flop.
Yeah, I mean, I'll pick up Hugh slightly, Gordon. I think part of this is allowed. Miovski signed for Rangers today and play tomorrow. It's the nature of the end of the window, is players might be signed just before the game, but the bit that Hugh is clearly right on is part of this bigger picture. How could you have any faith that Celtic will go and sign someone tonight and he'll be fine for tomorrow and Adamida will go based on the last few weeks?
I totally agree, especially with the history of the transfer window with Celtic, and that's the reason the fans are right against the board just now. It's a strange one, because even if you do bring Adam Ida back, where is his mind just now? Right, yeah. He wants to be out of Celtic, obviously. He knows that he's come in for a lot of criticism. There's a road out there, a path there. He fancies Swansea. He'll get down the road. Now, even if you keep him and you say, right, we're keeping you because we've nobody else, and I totally get Brendan Rodgers, 100% support him here, but if you're the player, where's your mindset right now of saying, this has got to block my move to Swansea when I want out?
And also, when your last kick of the ball for Celtic was to miss a penalty in a shootout for the Champions League. So it's all to do with, as Brendan Rodgers said yesterday, the timing of Celtic's movement in the transfer window. They've cost themselves the Champions League, and they might cost themselves Ibrox tomorrow because they just haven't gone about their business properly.
And it's once you get in that chain, Cammy, because if it is Dolberg that you're trying to get from Anderlecht, Anderlecht know exactly what's going on here. Fun enough with Ida last year with Arne Engels. You know you can try and squeeze as much as you possibly can out of it.
Absolutely. I was just going to refer back to last season. They put themselves in the exact same situation when they're scrambling. Again, you mentioned Ida, where's his head at this moment in time if he has to come back to Celtic. But again, you totally understand Brendan Rodgers' stance on this, that he cannot let him go until he has a confirmed replacement for him. So it's a real shambolic situation. It's a situation Celtic have put themselves in. Nobody else has put themselves in this situation. It's the way they've handled the window, the way they've handled trying to bring players in. And as you say, Gordon, then Dolberg, for me, Anderlecht are holding all the cards on this one. They can decide the fee, and again, Celtic might end up paying a little bit more than they should be.
I think there's also apparently Borussia Mönchengladbach are interested in him. Anderlecht are looking at who they can replace. So it is partly the nature of this bit of the window, and partly of Celtic's own doing as well. I think once you get to this stage, because I don't think Celtic planned on selling Adamida necessarily, but all of a sudden that comes along and you think, well, it might just work, but then only can we go and find someone else. So and then if other clubs are all thinking that way, you need an awful lot to fall into your place in the next 2 days.
100%. Listen, I've heard Hugh going on about this for weeks, and I do agree, it's a bit of a shambles. It really is. I've heard Brendan Rodgers come out and back in the board about it's not how much we spend, it's when we spend it, the right timing. And you're right, you're now getting to Monday, and you get in to buy a player. The selling club hold all the cards. They know how desperate you are, and it would be a great bit of business just now for Celtic if they got someone in, whether it's Dolberg or whatever it may be, got him in the building, and Adam Ida was let to go. Yeah, you drop a little bit of money on him, right? But I think it's well worth it, because seeing another year, or by the time it comes to January and he's in the form he's in, he's not playing with Celtic, everything like that, you're not going to get that value for him. Absolutely not a chance.
Let's hear from Brendan Rodgers on facing Russell Martin for the first time.
Listen, Russell knows the landscape. He's played at Rangers before, and he's come in, and it's always a challenge. you come in as a young manager, you go into a big club. He's had good success at MK Dons when he was there, at Swansea, and I still follow Swansea, so I know he's done a really good job there. Southampton went and got them promoted, and obviously the Premier League is it's a big challenge for any club. And then you come to Rangers, which is a big club. You're trying to impose your style, your way of working, whilst trying to change your culture. So it always takes a wee bit of time, you know. So yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll do really well. And but in the meantime, you always have to get through the sticky bits of your season, and sometimes those can be at the beginning, and you hopefully over time can make it better. But what I expect always a tough game when you play against Rangers.
You just knew it would be the case yesterday, Hugh, and that stuff went on social media yesterday, and Brendan Rodgers says Russell Martin's a good manager. The Rangers fans are replying saying, no, he's no. It's just like, it's a mad world, and Brendan Rodgers has just been in it a bit longer, I suppose.
Yeah, Brendan has to be diplomatic as managers and players when they're confronted by the press have to be. Fans can be as off the scale as they wish within the parameters of the law, so that's just a natural split between professional footballers, professional managers and committed fans.
Yeah, well, they're both under a bit of pressure in different ways tomorrow, I think we would agree. Let's speak to Thomas, who's a Rangers fan in Barhead. Hi, Thomas.
Good afternoon, guys.
Hello.
It's with regards to Russell Martin's position following tomorrow's game against Celtic.
Mm-hmm.
I was on last week saying that regardless of what happened in Bruges, before the Bruges game, regardless of what happened, nothing would happen until after the Celtic game. And still stand by that, as proved to be the case. However, after the Bruges debacle, Russell came out and said that he had the backing of the board, and the various powers that be at Ibrox came out and said that they too had faith in Russell Martin and backed him. And that's very well. I still think tomorrow's game is crucial for Russell Martin's future, because anything less than a win, and I include a draw in this, draw's no use, but anything less than a win, and it won't be up to the board what will happen to Russell Martin, it'll be up to the fans, because as you guys know, and you've heard it in your calls, the mood of the fans and their attitude to Russell Martin, he doesn't endear himself to the fans with his attitude, his arrogance, and his post-match interviews, as well as his team selections and his tactics or lack thereof. So the fans will vote with their feet. Now, we've got Europa League tickets going on sale very, very soon. Now, from the small pool of my Rangers supporting friends who I've got, now, I realise that's a small pool, but the tickets are not going to be sold. Now, the management can say what they like, but they're left with a scenario whereby Europa League tickets are not being bought up, and the stadium is getting emptier and emptier. 50,000 is becoming 40, is becoming 30. Then it won't be up to the board. Will have their minds made up for them. They'll have to let Russell Martin go. How the game will go tomorrow is anybody's guess, because one of your colleagues said it very well. It's the movable force against the resistible object. It's Celtic have a pretty poor attack just now, but that's compared to Rangers, who have virtually no defence. I don't think it's going to be a classic tomorrow by any manner of means. I think it's going to be what is the better or what is the worse, Celtic's attack or Rangers' defence.
Yeah, I'm always a bit sceptical at this bit, Hugh, when people say, people won't turn up, and when we're talking about domestically, well, season tickets are already sold, the money's already in. And an interesting point Thomas makes, I don't know, would the Europa League ticket package be severely damaged to the point that the board have to look at themselves, or does that not actually ever take place and somebody else will buy the ticket if you don't?
It's the domino effect that Thomas and others will be observing now. If Rangers lose to Celtic at Ibrox tomorrow, there will be a public outcry among the Rangers supporters, and then come those two games against the Edinburgh clubs, Hearts in the league, Hibs in the cup. Again, if the public outcry gets even louder because of defeats in those matches, his position will be untenable, and 49ers Enterprises will need to have a real long, hard look at the situation, because the famous banner that was hanging from the gates when Rangers get back from Belgium, get rid of them now before the seats are empty. The fans are informing Rangers that they will pay the price of keeping Russell Martin. If he's unsuccessful, they'll pay the price because people won't go to the matches. And the anger is such that even if you bought a season ticket, you won't use it. Never mind the Europa League matches.
Yeah,
so tomorrow is the start of avoiding that public backlash.
I think Thomas makes a lot of good points, but I'm going to slightly disagree with him. I think a point tomorrow, he survives. Right after international break, see who brings.
I think he survives anyway. I
don't. I think he goes. Yeah.
Do you?
I think if he gets beat tomorrow, he's gone. Yeah.
The Rangers have essentially kind of backed him this week. He signed Miovski today. Chermiti's apparently about to arrive.
So listen, we've seen it with Celtic, Brendan Rodgers. There are people above Russell Martin bring in players.
Oh, of course, he is the head coach. To be fair,
exactly.
But
so Russell, they're not just saying, well, we can't sack him because Russell's decided all these players are coming in. The recruitment's a big part of that.
I just mean, is it a club that would do that at this point?
For me, it's a big statement from the new owners, because ultimately what they are saying is they've failed in their choice in so early.
Saying it just
no, listen, I'm not disagreeing with you that if he loses tomorrow that he should go. I think. I
think he won't ultimately?
I just think he won't, because it's the new owners. It's their first big appointment. Their first big statement in the club was bringing him to the club. And again, they're having to say, look, we've failed. And as businessmen, we all know that successful businessmen struggle to probably say they've failed quite quickly.
You're paying public, Cammy, is very, very powerful now. Now, I know that it shouldn't be the fans decide who the manager should be and when he should get the job to, right? I totally agree with that. But when it comes as toxic as it is just now, and they lose to Celtic tomorrow, I'm sorry, I don't see any way back for them.
Thomas, you not think a draw would sort of just at least allow this to go on?
Because in any other circumstance, yeah, probably he would get extra time. As I said, since his tenure, he's not endeared himself to the Rangers support, so he's not going to get the benefit of the doubt from the support in any experience that I've had of talking to Rangers supporters, and obviously my own feelings. I don't think he'll get the benefit of the doubt. I think if it's anything less than a win tomorrow, then the fans will openly revolt. And I hear what your colleague was saying there about the management not wanting to admit a mistake, but that would compound even the arrogance of Russell Martin as well, because I was going to say man, but you can't be sexist nowadays, but it's the grown-up thing to do to admit you've made a mistake. Rectify the mistake, limit the damage. The damage that's happening to Rangers just now is quite intense. I mean, I looked at Tavernier's interview after the Bruges game, and okay, he'd absolutely been hammered, but he's been hammered before by Liverpool 7-1, and his interviews was always we take this in the chin and we move on. But he looked totally bemused and bewildered. It was not the James Tavernier that usually comes out after a defeat. And you've got the Nico Raskin situation as well. There just seems to be something not gelling behind the scenes as well as on the field.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out tomorrow. Thank you, Thomas. We'll start hearing from some of today's managers as well, but more time to get your thoughts over ahead of a big day tomorrow. Do it right now.
Games are over. The talking begins. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Into the final part of today's Clyde One Super Scoreboard, but we won't be away for long. Back just before noon tomorrow to take you through the big one. So much to look forward to. Let's start getting some reaction to today's games as well. Stuart Kettlewell saw his return to Motherwell as Kilmarnock boss end in a 2-2 draw. And let's cut to the chase. Before we even get to his thoughts on the game, how was his dealings with the Motherwell fans?
Listen, I spoke about it before the game. None of this is about me, and that's the politically correct answer. It's not about me. It's not about a reception I get or don't get or whatever. I come here to try and do a job today for Kilmarnock. So did the players, and I think we all conducted ourselves in a positive light. And whatever else happens in between that, I can never control it. So we move on to the international break. We still remain 9 undefeated, which isn't a bad place to be, but we're definitely striving to see if we can pick up a few more points. 4 draws now. We'd love to turn some of them into victories.
There we go. Is that it? Is that the end of it? Because they've met each other now. He'll come back again.
Yeah, that's the end of it until Mother will go to Rugby Park and get it all again.
Yeah, not that much drama on that front. What did he make of the game then?
Yeah, listen, I think we showed enough spirit to try and get back into it, if I'm being honest, and I've said this to players, it's where I'm always crystal clear. I think we need to show much more quality at times in possession. I think we need to show a wee bit more aggression when we don't have the ball, but I'm under no illusion this was always going to be a difficult game against a team that's got their tails up, that goes and scores 3 goals at Tynecastle last week, so you know they carry a threat. Good pace to their team, good energy. So very simply from my side, when you're 2-1 down and throughout the second half, you're desperate to try and get back level, and we showed enough character to do so. Possibly could have won it at the end as the game pads out with a chance for Big Marcus right in the last few seconds. But yeah, I think my obvious disappointment has been 1-0 up in the first half, and then that last few seconds with a turnover of the ball that Motherwell break and get their goal. Second goal similar in a sense, so definitely something we need to look at in that sense. But listen, the players are pulling everything into it, and for their character and their personality to get back in it, I'm proud of them.
Now, it did come about largely due to a mistake from the Motherwell goalkeeper. You could say he made one last weekend as well. There's a bit of frustration there because performance levels have been good, but results are not really following. A 4th consecutive draw. Here's what his manager had to say.
If he doesn't get nudged, then he should do better. But it looks to me as if he gets a little subtle touch, which is enough. For anyone who has tried to catch a ball pedaling backward and stretching full stretch, knows that the slightest touch will get you out of balance and will risk you losing the ball. And that's what he said, which I believe, because he's caught these balls a million times. I've never seen him drop it before. Now, in the game here, he also caught many balls like that, and he had safe hands all the way through. But we'll have to accept that there's sometimes a blind spot in the system that we can't do anything about. I don't think the cameras were in our favour the way they were set up. And it's a matter of, for us, to see what can we control, and we should have the dominance we had today should have resulted in more big goal chances.
I wonder if he's being generous to his goalkeeper, because fans will usually claim everything from officials. I don't detect too many Motherwell fans saying, "Oh, the ref's done us." I feel like they focus more on the goalkeeping mistake.
The man's been here a few weeks and we've got him as mad as the rest of us because he's now talking about the cameras were in the wrong position for us. Come on now, the goalkeeper.
I think at the core of it, Gordon, that's what it is. They'll be part of that, trying to protect the goalkeeper.
100%. Yeah, he's come out. He knows that he's had a poor one last week at Tynecastle as well. Added to that today, they had the 3 points in their hand, 2-1 up. The goalkeeper makes another mistake. Look, he's just a manager that's decided to come out and defend his goalkeeper, back him at the hilt. But I'm with you a little bit. I like that. I like personalities. The cameras weren't set up. I've been there many times.
Listen, I wouldn't like to hear you in your second language. I think we'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one.
What's his first language?
It's not English, is it?
No.
It's not. It's not a league I would usually give you score updates from. But anyone want to hear the Lorient versus Lille score?
Oh, don't tell me then.
Igaman, come on. Scored the 5th in a 6-1 win. At least he's got a double. At least he's not injured though. At least he's fit and well to take part in the game.
Okay. Now the moral to the story is
he's come on and scored a double.
Right. The moral to the story is Miovski signed, confirmed today at 12. Tomorrow at 12 he should start the game against Celtic for Rangers.
Actually wasn't sure how he would do, Gordon, but still this is just the first game, because I think he's a bit of a maverick, and I know the Rangers fans loved him, but over the piece did we see a massive contribution? I personally still wasn't sure, but he'll take that as a start. 2 goals off the bench.
100%. Listen, all types of football suits all types of players. Maybe the Scottish game, I liked him when he came on, but he was a maverick. He done his own thing. He wasn't a team player, but I liked watching him because he was in form. You knew he had good ability. He's been over to Lille and obviously come on off the bench. What a start that is to your new career over there.
Anyway, that ends the French football section of Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Bonjour.
We hear from a man who we used to hear a lot from on a Saturday afternoon.
Here he comes.
Partick Thistle manager Mark Wilson. A 3-2 win against Raith Rovers on the back of a good win away to Ross County last time out. They're going well.
Big 3 points for us, obviously going into the international break, and we spoke yesterday about the challenges that would present itself today, and must admit I was a wee bit surprised, maybe not the right word, but I was ecstatic with our start and going 2 up, because I was chatting to you yesterday and saying how robust Raith are and how difficult they are to play through, and we'd worked on a lot of things, how to carve them open at times, but I didn't think it would play out so quickly. So great, got control in the game, then it turns in its head, and for the neutral or for anybody watching, that must have been fantastic to watch.
We'll all have our fun, but Mark Wilson aside, Hugh, Partick Thistle, obviously they're on our patch, they're just up the road.
Yep.
That's a good story that's bubbling away there, really good form.
Yeah, and in Aidan Fitzpatrick and Logan Chalmers, they have regular goal scorers. So Tony Watts there as well, got his goal today. It's gathering momentum. The Partick Thistle story is gathering momentum, and that's the best that Mark can ask for.
Brilliant for him, absolutely brilliant. 2 good victories against 2 teams that are fancied to be up there running for the championship. So a great start to him, and I will look forward to sharing a few sherbets with him on Friday, because he's got the international break.
Absolutely, yeah. The championship, always interesting, Cammy, but just quite fascinated by some of the results. There's St Johnstone dropping points as well today.
Yeah, and again, that's why it makes it even better for Partick Thistle's result today. Other teams dropping points that are in and around them, it'll get them up the league a little bit. So yeah, it's looking really good. They're building momentum. They probably don't want the international break coming up. They probably want a game to keep it going. But yes, listen, it's going to be a tight league. We all know that. There's not a lot in the games between the sides, so it'll be another interesting season in the championship.
Right, go on then, leave us with your final thoughts ahead of tomorrow and end it with a match prediction.
It's like Christmas for me. It's one sleep to go. Can't wait. I'm looking forward to seeing the lineups first and foremost. Can I hold my prediction off till tomorrow?
Yeah, I suppose if you're on the show you can, because you see the team lineups. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I don't like that.
It's a little bit of a cop out, but I suppose once the team lineups come in, you, Cammy, do not have that luxury. We won't speak to you tomorrow, so give us your general thoughts on the game and then finish with a prediction if you can.
Yep, I think it's going to be a cracker tomorrow. I genuinely do. I think it's going to be, everyone's expecting 2 teams who are completely out of form, but listen, I think it's going to be a good game. I definitely think there'll be goals in the game as well, so I'm going to go a 2 each draw.
Wow. Hugh Keevins?
I would like to wait for the teams, but
you can if you want.
What I think is there's a defensive frailty about Celtic, not as bad as Rangers, but there's a defensive frailty about Celtic, and I think if Miovski plays from the start or comes on, I think Miovski will score the goal that wins the game for Rangers. But the most important thing I have to say before I go is happy birthday Noah, my grandson, 12 today.
I don't mind that. I was going to pick you up on the fact that Celtic haven't even conceded yet, but I'll leave it, since it was Noah's birthday, we'll leave it there. Wish him well, and we move on to tomorrow just before noon. You'll find us building up to the big one. Make sure you join us, and the Saturday night you have in store here is perfectly poised as well. The GBX is up next.
This season, I want to feel it from the start, from the whistle, from the first touch. Want to beat the odds, want to take an early lead, want to see why he costs so much money, want to shout pen before the ref is even called in, want to see the call go our way for once. I want to hear their lot go quiet, want to see them leave early, want to drop into the group chat to tell them I've seen the future, want to hear them agree, and if not I'll say, want to bet? Bet Fred. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Get the new Google Pixel 10 Pro on EE and save a huge £544. And talk to Gemini about anything you see.
Like reorganising my living room?
Exactly.
Or helping us decide which top to wear with me jeans.
Yep, that too.
What about my old phone?
Trade in and save even more. All on the UK's best network. No wonder tech lovers are choosing EE.
Introductory offer ends 15th of September. Trading discount dependent on device. Savings across contract. Eligibility, credit check and terms apply. Credit by EE Limited. Verify best network at ee.co.uk/claims.